You're Dr. 𝗕𝗲𝗳𝗂𝗏 and you're a nutritional chemistry scientist. Welcome to the Arrived podcast.
Every company I worked for, I stopped eating that. If you look at the Coca-Cola's history, originally they started from Coke.
Cocaine.
Narcotics, actually.
Cocaine.
If you look at the history, it was designed for the... Then I learnt about the dark chocolate, dark side of the dark chocolate. If I tell you vanilla chemical name, you won't buy it. But if I tell natural identical, so this natural word was added to hide the same artificial. Natural flavors are not supposed to be stable like that. They will deteriorate, they will evaporate, they will change. If you go to a small roadside farm, their vegetables are not that beautiful. But people don't want that. They want a shiny apple. Okay, if you want a shiny apple, definitely it's waxed. 90% experts are sponsored experts. So permitted limit is say 0.01 milligram per 100 gram or per serving. Up to that it's safe. But who is defining how many servings you will eat?
Recently there was a ban on a masala by MDH, if I'm not wrong.
2 Indian spice brands are under the scanner in Hong Kong and Singapore.
If you look at Singapore, every month there are products which are rejected at the port. But because it's a popular brand in India,
that's why it
become a news. So medicines, we test it on humans. Pesticides and food additives are never tested on humans.
How safe it is to eat hydroponically grown or aquaponically grown?
10 kilo protein use karke, then you are producing 1 kilo protein as a chicken.
Explain that.
So, protein ka Hindi naam batao.
No idea.
It doesn't exist. That's the generation why we are protein deficient. Like protein is one of the main reason why our average age is less. India is epicenter of cardiac diseases. Young people are getting like cardiac arrests and all those things.
आप एक gap खुद bridge कर रहे हो, which is solving the protein problem. What other opportunities or gaps lie in the food industry right now that any entrepreneur or aspiring entrepreneur who's watching this can fill? Around 70 to 80% of Indians don't eat protein as per the recommendations. Proteins are the building blocks of our body and probably one of the most essential nutrients that one must consume. India has a big protein problem. Number one. Number two, nutrition and nutrition science is so confusing because there is so much information out there, but nobody really knows what is right and what is wrong. Processed food, ultra processed food, packaged food, pretty much one and the same thing. How much protein one should consume, what kind of protein one should consume, plant protein, whey protein isolate, hydrolyzed protein. There is so much talk about all of this. Yet, as a country, we don't consume enough protein when it comes to the lower strata, especially the lower strata of the population. Today's podcast was one of the most mind-blowing conversations I've ever had on nutrition and protein. Dr. 𝗕𝗲𝗳𝗂𝗏𝗀𝗀 is a nutritional scientist with an experience in research for more than 20 years, who turned himself into an entrepreneur and now heads a company called Shandy Global, which is active in Australia, Singapore, Southeast Asia, and Canada. And they're now launching their brand in India. This conversation is going to bust so many myths about food, nutrition, and protein that your mind is going to be absolutely blown. The product that they're launching is frankly too good to be true. I have been very skeptical throughout my conversation with him. So I've asked him some tough questions. I've asked him some very, very transparent questions. I hope you will see this transparency and genuinity in the conversation that we have. I think this is one of the best podcasts I have recorded on food, nutrition, and science. I hope you enjoy it. Make sure you share it with people who would appreciate it or could benefit from this conversation. Please subscribe and like this video and support us in producing more content like this. You guys are going to have a ball. Enjoy this podcast.
This is very important actually. So इंडस्ट्री ने क्या पूरा नैरेटिव वैसा बनाया what exactly they want to sell, they will start educating people around that. You know, rather than telling the real truth, वो पूरा education उन्होंने वैसा ही बना दिया कि okay, it is like that and you should eat it, so that people will okay, dark chocolate is very good, it's very high on antioxidant. Actually, there is nothing.
Just how initially sugar was, or stuff like muesli and high sugar cereals, breakfast cereals were popularized, and they were supposed to be healthier than the paratha that we eat at home, right? Which is not the case.
Actually, whole US, when the Kellogg's, they came out with these breakfast cereals. Okay, they really so breakfast is not actually mandatory, to be honest. Okay, typical lifestyle, we used to have brunch. Okay, so we eat at around 10 and then we eat late at 2. And if you look at the older people, they used to eat that way, are not bad in shape. They're good. But then because of this Kellogg's and few companies, they created this whole narrative that you must eat breakfast. You must eat it.
Yes.
While there was no scientific evidence that you must have a breakfast. Okay, it depends, like when you feel right, there should be a gap between food. And actually they forced people or convinced people to eat more. कि आप ब्रेकफास्ट करो 8 AM पे, उसके बाद में आप 12 बजे लंच करो, उसके बाद में आप डिनर करो, उसके बाद में सपर करो. Actually, really, and then you have obesity and you have diabetes, and so who decided this 9-course meal actually?
FDA.
There was no requirement of so much food actually for a normal person, unless you are very hardworking person or you are. That's all not needed actually. But to support the food industry, we have to sell more food, which is unnecessary. But we have to do it. Same as chocolate, same as flavors actually. Flavors is exactly same thing. Because 99% of the flavors we eat in the market. Any food you pick up, any food actually, and you look at the label, they are, so a big example like vanilla. Okay, everybody loves vanilla.
But it's so expensive, it can't be as cheap as we get it, right?
And they will show you the flour and the bean of vanilla. But 99.99% products are not that actually. They are made from synthetic vanillin, which is a petrochemical product. And we enjoy it. And we think, everybody thinks it's vanilla. But actually it's not. Because vanilla is grown only in one place, Madagascar. It's a tiny island.
It can only grow so much.
It can only, and now with these typhoons and cyclones and all, the crop has reduced to almost 1/4. So it will never be enough. Never be enough actually. But the demand of vanilla is growing every day, every day, every day. How it will be there? And they are convincing that you should eat more. So that means the synthetic industry will grow more. And people don't know. Now, whether it's good or bad, okay, that's also a big problem. So when you do a study, clinical study, you will always get 50-50 or 70-30 results. Okay, anything. Any trial or testing we do, you will always get 70-30, 50-50. Now, which 50 I want to publish and which 50 I don't want to publish is on me. And 20 years in the food industry, I have been doing that actually. So if there is an ingredient, I need to convince government that, okay, this is the ingredient, it's safe. So then we will design the whole trial to prove it safe. So that means I will not put the data, or I will avoid, or I will say okay, this data is not right actually. So you get 50%. It's just like you have an election. The votes are in your favor, they are valid, and remaining are invalid votes. Then you are winner, right? So same thing we do. So the data which is in our favor, that it didn't harm particular animal. Okay, then it's pass. And government will allow it as an ingredient and will consume it every day. And the problem is, whole industry, you have seen a lot of people who talk about the food, they talk about nutrition, and they talk about everything. They talk about sugar, calories, everything. I haven't heard a single person who talk about the additives. No one talks about the additives. No one, actually. flavors, all other
Preservatives.
additives, preservatives. Nobody talks about
Now
that.
there is a lot of talk about processed and ultra processed food.
That's also a problem.
Being really bad.
That's
right?
actually a big
Can you
scam.
Can you dig a little deeper into the science of processed and ultra processed food? Is processed and ultra processed food bad for you? If yes, then how? If not, then how much?
So first, maybe can I ask one question to
Please,
you? Okay.
please.
What do you think is processed?
So anything that is not or in its original form, it has been changed into fulfilling certain purpose.
So we eat 𝗕𝗂𝗲𝘀𝗀. Is it processed or unprocessed?
Technically, yes, but I mean, it is a food, so no.
Technically, it's processed.
Yes.
In factory, what we do is we scale it up to a larger scale.
Yeah.
Factory also does exactly same thing. You cut the products, you boil them, you roast them, you grill them, you put spices or flavor. So the process is exactly same process actually. Unless you are doing some genetically modification or something.
Or adding some chemical preservatives.
No, that's the catch. That's the catch.
Yeah.
So what these, and when I say experts, 90% experts are sponsored experts actually.
Correct.
So they will drive a narrative about the processed. Avoiding real processed mean if you are adding anything which is a non-food ingredient into it. So like if I am making a pickle, we used to make pickle since hundreds of years, right? Is it processed, unprocessed? No, it's a natural process of preserving the vegetables, right? Now, if I do that, experts will say, no, it's a processed food, you shouldn't eat it. But what they will not say is actually the processing is not a problem. The problem is when you are adding a sodium benzoate in it to preserve it. So you are not following our traditional process to add the oil, dry it so that it doesn't spoil. You are taking a shortcut. You are just adding sodium benzoate, which is a preservative, to preserve it. That everybody avoids. So this process, unprocessed, the problem is there is no definition in law or anywhere. There is no properly defined definition. Okay, this is processed, this is unprocessed. You know, you will be surprised. Like in US, one of the law they put, anything which is heated above 80 degrees centigrade should be considered as a processed.
Okay.
Even you make a coffee is about 80 degrees centigrade.
Yes.
So will you call it processed? No, you won't call it actually.
Also, you're roasting coffee, that's
Roasting
also
is-
higher, yeah, right?
Anything you cook, you make any food is above 80 degrees centigrade. That defines it as a process. But they didn't talk about if you are adding additives, that should be considered as a process.
Even they did not do it.
Nobody talks about it. No one talks about it purposely because they want people to be diverted about processed, unprocessed without defining it and without actually telling the problem is additives, not actually heating the food. You are supposed to heat it. You are supposed to cook it. So what's wrong with that?
The human agricultural revolution was based on the entire idea of using fire to cook food.
Yeah.
If you would not heat things up, you can't eat it.
Exactly. So what is processed? That's why I asked the question, what is processed? And nobody has an answer. The actual problem with the process is hidden. Nobody even is allowed to talk about it. Like adding non-food ingredient is processing. You shouldn't add it.
So would you say that when you are reading a label on any food item, and if you see too many ingredients, number one, don't buy it, right? Number two, any ingredient that you can't really pronounce easily,
Don't buy it.
don't buy it. So that's like the biggest two red flags.
And in our products, like all the protein products, so that was our biggest and like the promise to the people. Also, there is one catch, like, okay, which one is safe, which one is unsafe. So technically, anything which is legal is safe. Okay, that's what we all believe, and we are supposed to believe. We believe in our governments. We believe in our law. So we believe whatever is written there, they have evaluated it. I'm not going into that. Yeah, I'm not going into that direction. But when we define any ingredient, how it is defined in the law is, so there is a permitted limit. So permitted limit is say 0.01 milligram per 100 gram or per serving. Okay, up to that it's safe. But who is defining how many servings you will eat. So when you are eating like 2 servings of that, it means you are double than your safe limit.
Yeah.
You are eating 3 servings, you are triple than your safe limits. So we believe like, okay, but that we can't control actually. So what we decided is no additives at all.
You come from Singapore. You've been working in Singapore since 2014.
Yeah.
Recently, there was a ban on a masala by, if I'm not wrong, for some ingredient that was carcinogenic, but it is still going on free flow in India. How do the governments decide this, and what is the process of deciding it?
No, so there are limits actually. So it's mainly the pesticides and other ingredients, because it's all agriculture products and there is no further processing on it. So whatever is in the crop, you grind it and it goes into your products. Most of the company, so FSSAI has a very good, very well-defined rules and the limits for all the pesticides, insecticides and contaminants. They are there. Now the problem is our agriculture is not controlled agriculture like West. It's like we are still like 90% of our crops are smallholder farmings.
Yes.
Compared to like Canada or Australia or US, where all the agriculture is corporatized.
Mostly corporatized, yes.
So you can control them better. Here, because of the smallholder farming, so the companies, I don't blame MDH or anyone actually, because it can happen with anyone. They try to control or monitor, I would say. They can't really control the crops, but they try to monitor it as much as possible. But 100% is impossible.
Now I get it.
Because we can't control the crops.
Yeah, it's similar to how Amul can't control the quality of milk
Farms.
it gets, right? Because it is just a cooperative collecting milk from farmers and then just processing it.
Exactly.
Right. So it is impossible to control the quality of milk as well.
Yeah. They try to. They have like, they monitor the farms, they monitor the crops. They do that actually. Most of nowadays they started is the contract farming. So they define, okay, which seeds you should use, which pesticides are allowed to be used, how much quantity is allowed to be used. Second thing is because they also were reported heavy metal contamination. Now that is from the soil. Poor farmer is not even adding it.
Yes.
Okay. If suddenly I went to new farm and I cleaned it up, I bought a new farm and I started cultivating there. Now one way is like, if you go in the West, before even the farm is approved for cropping, there is a whole testing and you need to get approval for the farm that it's ready for the cropping. Like Australia can't just grow the crop in any farm. A government will define, okay, which crops you can grow, how much you can grow, how much gap you need to give, all those things. We are not doing that. So when you go to a new farm, you really don't know what mineral level is there, heavy metal level is there. So you have a chance to get that. Now, there is a law, every year you need to monitor your FS limits. Now, but every year is a long time actually. If there is a batch in between or just one lot of the chilies from one farmer which is contaminated, your whole batch is going to have those contamination level high and you won't even be able to detect it. And somehow, Singapore, they have much rigid regulations. So anything which is imported, every batch undergoes the testing. And they found one batch and then they rejected it. Actually, it was like very close to us, the MDH spices. But if you look at Singapore, every month there are products which are rejected at the port. But because it's a popular brand in India,
that's why it became news.
It became a news.
Yeah.
And maybe also because of the competitor, because in that space there is a lot of competition. Right. So they highlighted it. But like you send consignment to Australia or US, it's very normal that consignment will get rejected. Now, what they do is they divert it to other countries where the regulation is not that stringent. Anyways, but because this space is very close to us, so we know it. Yeah.
So there are, just continuing from this point, there are a lot of farms and regions in India. Like few years back, I attended a seminar in my school only with one of oncologist from Jaipur, and he said that there is a region in Ganganagar, Sri Ganganagar, where there is a train that goes, and it is called unofficially as the Cancer Express. Because during the agricultural green revolution in India, they started using a lot of pesticides and insecticide. And now after 20-30 years, the effect of farming and using those insecticide and pesticide, we can see on our body. So there's so many people living there actually got cancer, and वो train का नाम ही Cancer Express पड़ गया.
Oh, that's so sad.
I'm not sure if it is Sri Ganganagar, but it is some region in Rajasthan. Maybe when we'll release the podcast, we'll do some work and put it up there. So now the kind of food or preservatives that we are using at the moment and that are deemed to be safe.
Yeah.
Is it possible that 20 years later, we find out that they are not safe?
No, there's no way. It is very much possible. And not necessarily 20 years. We might realize it in next year or next to next year. And this is not only related to the pesticides, actually. Medicines, vaccines, it applies to all of them, actually. Because if you look at the way we do our clinical trials today, okay, so you have a pesticide, you'll bring it to a clinical trial company, they will evaluate it on animals first. So rabbits, guinea pigs, then rabbits and so on. And then they will release it. They never test it on humans. So medicines, we test it on humans. Pesticides and food additives are never tested on
no
humans.
Human trials on them.
So the problem is actually the medicine is occasional. The quantity we eat is very small, but we test it on humans, right? But food we eat every day is never tested.
That's ironical. That's so ironical.
Yeah. And we are just putting it in the farms. So every pesticide or all those additives, we put it in the food. They are never tested and we are just eating it every day. Medicine, we eat it when we need it. That's a big gap in the whole system. And you can't change it right now.
Do you think that corporatization of farming is a good step for India? Because, like, if I'm not wrong, I've not done much detailed study on the farm laws that were supposed to be implemented but could not. They were inching towards corporatizing farming in India. Right. Do you think that would have been a positive for the Indian people in terms of health?
In my opinion, no.
No.
It will. In my personal, that's my personal,
because
political.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Because you mentioned that the farming in the West is mostly corporatized, so they can control what they put in it and what they don't, what they use and what they don't.
Yeah.
So couldn't they have done that in India then?
There's a big question there. So they can control what they want to control. Okay. Now the question is what they want to control. Actually. So even in West, I will never say their food is very safe. No, it's not actually. Like they control even the seed qualities. 90% of their seeds are genetically modified. Everything is controlled by buyer. You can't even buy a seed from the market. At least here I can buy and I can grow my farm. So they control everything. Now, and all about the corporatization, it comes with what is the label of governance. So I'm not against privatization or corporatization. But if you want to take that chance, then there need to be a very strong governance. Otherwise, it becomes like going back to 100 years ago, where whole society is controlled by Raja. So first, like in West, it's a capitalist economy. So everything is controlled by corporate, but there is a governance. And the reason for governance is probably because the education level is higher. So people will not accept if they try to do something which is apparently wrong. I would say apparently wrong. So everybody can go in very deep science, but at least apparently they won't accept it. Unless that governance is there, I won't suggest, I won't prefer to have corporatization, because currently the way our regulatory system and the governance label is, I don't think we can control the corporates if we give them too much rights. So first we need to build a strong governance, then give them rights. Otherwise, I'm not very sure that people will even get food. Because why whole system was designed, whether it's a corporate, the cooperative milk or cooperative grain or food security bill and all, was because we are still far from that level. Okay, so government wanted to control so that almost at least everyone is getting food on their plate. That's our priority. Correct. Which is not the case in there. The priority is because their population is small, their own food requirement is very little. Now their whole purpose of agriculture is to export. Yes. So it's controlled by corporate and it's fine. Here, we are not yet there actually. We are still importing lentils from Canada, chickpeas from Australia, wheat from Ukraine actually. So if we give it to corporate, it will be very difficult to feed people in India. So for that reason, this is not the right time, I would say. I'm not against
before its time.
Before its time, yeah. Because if we give it to them right now, it might be a disaster.
I've never thought about the farm laws in this light, because usually all the science is clouded by the politics around it, right? And you don't really understand how that would work out. But fantastic. Sir, I now officially welcome to the Arrived podcast.
Thank you.
We started off the conversation and he pressed the recording button. So I think it is better that we have an impromptu conversation.
Yeah.
Right. I would like to introduce you first, sir. You're Dr. 𝗕𝗂𝗳𝗏 and you're a nutritional chemistry scientist. You started your career from India and then moved to Singapore.
Yeah.
How many years did you spend in research?
So 4 years in research. I did my PhD for 4 years. But then I was always in innovation my whole career. So I have been doing research last 20 years in the industry. So 2 years in academics and 20 years in the industry.
And then you took the next step as an entrepreneurial venture.
Yeah. Actually, that was a trigger because while doing the research for the industry, and when you are working for a corporation, okay, not a specific name, but any corporation, there is a certain target which you need to achieve and you do the research what they want to do. Okay, so I can't really decide, okay, now I need to feed India. I can't do that, okay. I have to meet the goal. So then we decided, I think now we have gained enough experience, we have network, and now let's do something which really makes sense for the society and to us as well, actually. So then we decided, okay, let's start the business which is driven by the social impact.
Tell me a little bit about the business, sir. And where did you start it?
So we started it in Singapore. We started just before the COVID, in fact, actually. And the main purpose was, it was an ingredient company where we started. It was not a protein company. So when I was working for the flavor company, I won't name it, but for the flavor house, so the industry I started working, I stopped eating that food. That has been last 20 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
that says a lot about what we eat.
Every company I worked for, I stopped eating that. So my first job was in alcohol and alcohol beverage, and just after university. So university time, we were good actually. We have parties and all. The moment I stepped into a company, we were producing whiskey for one of the largest brand. I stopped that. Because I realized, normally when we think whiskey, okay, it's a cask and right? That's how we think about it.
The Scotch distilleries of the world, yeah.
That's not it. Not how it works.
Not how it works in India, at least.
Yep. And most of the places.
Really? But Okay, so
India definitely not.
yeah, but the cheaper stuff, right? If it's more expensive.
No, not even like mid size,
Mm.
unless it's imported.
Okay.
Yeah, so like that was a brand that time, and we were blending it actually.
Mm.
So I said like I thought it's made in the cask and everything. I was blending almost every day.
Mm.
I said like this is blended 99.9% ethyl alcohol. For me, it was just a chemistry.
Correct.
So it's ethyl alcohol, then flavor, and that's all actually. There's no cask there.
There's no aging.
We have flavors which aged it. So I can age the whiskey within 2 hours by adding aging flavor. And there is a term for it. It's called IMFL, actually. Indian
Manufactured
Foreign Liquor.
Yeah.
So manufacture means it's blended.
Yeah.
And blending is we get the flavor, we add ethyl alcohol, and that's all. I said, no, that's not what I thought actually. So I stopped that.
No for you.
So and then I went into the flavor industry, and that was a disaster for me personally. So I was drinking occasionally this carbonated beverage. I'm not a big drinker of those, but I was drinking occasionally. Then I said like when I look at the formulations of Coke and PepsiCo, the flavor especially. So that's another problem. Like, so people, they always blame sugar in Coca-Cola. Nobody actually talk about the flavor we put into it.
Mm.
If you look at the Coca-Cola's history, originally they started from Coke, like the
cocaine,
narcotics. Actually,
cocaine.
If you look at the history, it was designed for the soldiers during the pain, actually, to relieve their pain. That's why it was designed. Originally, Coca-Cola was coming in that version. Okay. Then, when US government banned Coke, they have to replace it with something. So they replaced it with caffeine.
Oh.
So now it's caffeine plus the flavor.
Wow. Okay.
So, but you look at the flavor plus the amount of the caffeine we put, and it's synthetic caffeine. It's not coffee like this one. That's a nice one, but it's a synthetic caffeine. We put that, then there are flavors. I said, it's not just the sugar. Rest, everything is disaster there, actually. So I stopped.
Okay.
Then I went to, I worked there for around 11 years. So I developed almost every brand flavors. Any brand you pick up in India or Asia, I might be there, culprit, to develop them. Then I went into cocoa and chocolate industry, and one of the largest cocoa company in the world. So then I learned about the dark side of the dark chocolate.
The dark secrets of the dark chocolate are out now.
I was exactly thinking like everybody thinks that dark chocolate is I was a big fan of dark chocolates actually before I went there. I used to buy a lot, and I think chocolate is very good. And dark chocolate means less sugar, so I'll be very happy actually. But then I realized dark is not really dark. It's just ammonia which makes it dark. I stopped eating chocolate at all actually. So then we thought like how many things I can stop eating. So we said, okay, let's try to do something. And the reason was we were talking. So when I come back home, I was always talking about it like, you know, how chocolate is. And then I was forcing it to all my known people. You don't drink Coke, don't drink Pepsi, don't drink this, don't eat chocolate. And it's like,
what do you do?
What do you do? And then one of my friends suggested like, okay, fine, but what you are going to do about it actually. So then we decided, okay, let me do something about it. So we started our ingredient company. That was the first company. So Sandy started as a Sandy ingredient first.
Sandy ingredient.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the purpose was to produce the natural ingredient, not the synthetic one, and make natural ingredient accessible to everyone. Because today, even I know it, but can I really buy vanilla? I can't actually. So the only option I have left is don't.
Okay. So I want to ask this. When you say Sandy ingredient,
yeah.
Ingredient of what? Like
food ingredient.
What kind of food ingredient?
So flavors, natural ingredients like cocoa, vanilla, coffee, plus nutraceuticals. Nutraceutical is another big scam actually. So
I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I am big on nutraceuticals.
So nutraceuticals, like we were doing natural vitamin C, natural antioxidants. So everything natural. And the purpose is to make natural accessible to everyone. That was the goal. And then it was COVID time. So we were still based in Singapore. I was living there. But during COVID, then I couldn't travel. So we have to decide to put the headquarters in Singapore, because I don't know how long it will be there. So we started in Singapore, we bring that business. But at the same time, the protein was also a big market.
It's always been
alternative protein.
the highlighted ingredient in food.
So 2020, because of the COVID, the alternative protein and the meat was like
booming.
In West, it was booming. Yeah. And we were producing the protein that time. But protein as an ingredient. We were not in the protein as a food business. So then a lot of investors, they shown interest, like you are doing so much good stuff in protein. Why you don't make it a protein company?
So what companies were you supplying to?
Nutraceuticals.
When you talk about protein?
No, so protein we were supplying to a lot of these food and supplement companies actually that time.
Can you name any?
Supplement companies, like we were in medicinal. So there is a brand called Hepron actually. We were supplying to hospitals in fact. Actually. It was so clean. AIMS, we were running the trials with the liver patients, because liver patients, they can't digest protein. So you need to give them high branch chain amino acid protein. So you're supplying to one of the distributor to AIMS.
Do you give them like the hydrolyzed protein? That's what
it's
you do?
Natural protein. Actually, you don't need to hydrolyze it. So some of the proteins, they have better digestibility. So you can increase the digestibility by many ways. I'll talk about that actually. Yes. There are many ways you can increase that. You don't need to really chemically hydrolyze it. So we were doing, and we are good at that actually. So we hydrolyze. We don't really hydrolyze. We use another method to increase the digestibility of the protein, and plus remove the native taste. So that was our main ingredient. So we can make pea proteins almost taste like wheat flour.
But and you don't add anything.
No, without adding
chemical
anything.
Preservative or anything.
No, I'll give you a secret. Actually, it's basically you eat sprouts, right?
Yes.
How much is the taste difference between the sprouts and the normal soaked beans? So if you eat like soaked chana and sprouted chana, or sprouted moong versus soaked moong ki dal,
sprouted is better
taste-wise.
Yeah.
That's a natural process actually. During the sprouting process, the beanie taste is already naturally deteriorated. You don't need, plus the digestivity of the sprouts is much better than normal lentils.
Correct.
It's a natural process. Now the thing was, it's a long process. It takes 3-4 days. So what we can do to accelerate it? So what we did was, we just accelerated that process to happen in just 4 hours. You don't have the taste, the natural taste. Then you don't have digestivity problem because it's sprouted actually.
And again, without adding any chemicals,
we just what we call is we try to follow the natural processes, because there's lot of knowledge available in the nature itself. But industry always takes the shortcut. You can also get flavor from nature, right? That's how old times, when the artificial flavors were not there, that's how the flavors and fragrances were produced. So why we can't just replicate what nature is able to do it? So that's what we were doing actually.
Correct me if I'm wrong. It's also similar to how fragrances are there in perfumes.
Yep.
Right. If it's an expensive perfume, very expensive perfume that is not chemically, there are no chemicals in that, they would have original fragrances of whatever fragrance we're talking about, right? I don't know if I'm making sense or not, but
no. It does. I would say that's how it should be.
Yeah. Okay. But it is not how it is.
It's not how it is.
Yeah. Because like, for example, if you go to the Middle East, you get these oud flavors, and the more aged the more pure the oud is, the more expensive it is. I don't know if that is the reality. Do you know anything?
No.
Okay.
It's not.
So enlighten me. Enlighten my.
So I work for a Swiss company, which is a global leader in flavors and fragrances. So most of the foods you eat in the market, they have flavor of that company in it. Most of the fragrances, and fragrances not like fine fragrances, but your detergent to floor mopping, everywhere there is a fragrance nowadays. They are the global leader. And that's where I learned. So we replicate, so that like legally, and that's most people, they don't know. So when you read, next time you will read it like that.
Oh,
so
I'm going to completely eat the label first, yeah.
So one is natural, so natural flavors. Then second category is natural identical. And then there is artificial. Now actually natural identical was the category created to disguise the artificial, I would say. So natural is natural. That means you are extracting the flavors of fragrance directly from the nature. Okay, fine, very good, very nice. Then there is artificial. Now vanilla, for example, is found in nature, and the main compound is vanillin, which gives you vanilla flavor. But if you are synthesizing vanilla from petrochemical, you can call it natural identical. But actually it's not, it's nowhere close to natural, because natural flavors are not single molecule. They are always a complex flavors. But if I tell you vanilla chemical name, you won't buy it. But if I tell natural identical, so at least the natural word is there. Identical, most people, they don't understand what is identical. So I can call that synthetic made with petrochemical natural identical.
But is it chemically identical to the natural vanilla?
That particular molecule. Only vanillin is identical. So vanillin as a chemical structure is identical. But if you buy vanilla beans, it's not just the vanillin. There are a lot of other molecules which makes it complex flavor. Same is like coffee. If you drink caffeine, it doesn't taste anything like coffee.
There is an interaction of other
There are a lot of other molecules which are there. That makes the coffee whole coffee. And that's how it varies. Caffeine is same in all coffees, but that doesn't make it coffee. Coffee is like the complex structure. But then I can use synthetic caffeine and I can say natural identical. So this natural word was added to hide the same artificial. Now, artificial are the only ingredient which are like, doesn't exist in nature. So I created something new molecule which doesn't exist. That is only molecule which is artificial.
Completely new.
It doesn't exist. That molecule doesn't exist anywhere in the nature. Then I will say, okay, it's a artificial ingredient. Otherwise, most of the food labels you will read is natural identical. So what most people first read natural and they'll say natural, but actually it's natural identical. That means it's artificially made. So this was, and it goes for flavors, fragrances.
So it's the same case with perfumes also. I mean, we're talking about food, but of course we're talking about fragrances.
Perfume is exactly same. Perfume is exactly same. Perfumes are more artificial actually.
Of course, I mean, it's not going inside your body, you're putting it on your skin, but...
I don't blame the industry also entirely. You know, the problem is when we eat a food which is packaged. Now, if I want to add only natural flavor into it, natural flavors are not supposed to be stable like that. Okay, they will deteriorate, they will evaporate, they will change. Because they're natural. Like if you keep normal coffee for next day, it won't taste exactly same. Even 2 hours later, it won't taste exactly same. That's what the natural is. But the consumer don't like that. They want exact same taste every day. Exact same taste in every pack. That's not possible by natural flavor. So we have to come out with something which is stable. Artificial is stable. So the problem is not just the industry actually. It's also the consumer. They don't want to compromise on anything. Orange juice. They want like fresh orange flavor. Yeah. How you'll get a fresh orange flavor in a bottled orange juice? You can't get it. So what we do is We add flavor into it so that even after 2 months, you will get the natural juicy orange flavor. But then definitely it's artificial flavor you have to add. So it's very important that people need to start accepting that, okay, natural food tastes like that. And that's a big gap in the community. That like the same goes with the pesticide or food like we buy from supermarket. The pesticide free vegetables and fruits, they won't look that beautiful. Okay, right. They will be rotten. They will be eaten by the beetles. That's how they will appear. If you go to a small like roadside farm where a farmer is growing, their vegetables are not that beautiful. But people don't want that. They want a shiny apple. Okay, if you want a shiny apple, definitely it's waxed. Normal as apple coming from all the way from Kashmir to here, it will not be shiny. It will sink.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, all of these like food items, like for example apples, if they don't look nice, they're rejected by the major supermarkets or major exporters.
Because people don't buy it. So this
but those are the real good.
They are the real
good ones.
They are the really good. So this is a huge education. But the problem is the advertising educated people other way around. They will always show that beautiful apple actually is shiny, glossy. How it's glossy actually? It's not right food. Always the vegetables will be fresh and leafy. No, even after 1 hour of harvest, your vegetable is not supposed to be that like that. So there's a big shift required even in the consumers. Industry is driving them towards more artificial because that's more beneficial for them.
Sir, I'm digressing a little bit here. But क्योंकि आपने बात करी तो मुझसे रहा नहीं जा रहा बिना पूछे. When we're talking about this, then आजकल hydroponic or aquaponic grown vegetables and fruits का बड़ा trend चल रहा है, right? How pure, safe it is to eat hydroponically grown or aquaponically grown?
See, everything has two sides of the coin, I would say. ठीक है, hydroponically is controlled environment, तो वहाँ पे जो pests की problem नहीं है. Okay, definitely yes, I agree. So that means you don't need to add pesticides. But अब उसमें जो fertilizer है, normally in a normal crop in a farm, we are not supposed to add chemical fertilizer. We are supposed to get the like nitrogen from the manure itself. Correct. अब उसमें हम लोग हाइड्रोपोनिक्स में तो 100% आप केमिकल से उसको फर्टिलाइजर दे रहे हो. नाउ दैट इटसेल्फ विल मेक अ डिसीजन कि आपको कौन सा लेना है. बिकॉज वन वे वी आर सेइंग वो खेत में यूरिया डाल रहा है, दैट्स रॉन्ग. यहाँ पे हम लोग यूरिया का सॉल्यूशन डायरेक्ट डाल रहे हैं बिकॉज देयर इज नो अदर न्यूट्रिशन देयर. हाउ दैट कैन बी मोर हेल्दी इन माय ओपिनियन.
सो इन दैट केस तो ये तो हाइड्रोपोनिक्स हो गया, बट एक्वापोनिकली जब आप ग्रो कर रहे हो, when you're using fish also, the fish tanks and all, so they release their nitrogen.
That's
from,
fine. At least it's
better?
natural. At least it's natural, na? Because you are not adding chemical. Because भले plant है या human है ना? They are not supposed to have synthesized molecules as a food.
Yeah, and then it comes down to कि fish क्या खाना खा रही है. If they are eating,
that's the problem.
If the fish is eating chemical food, then again it's the same.
Yeah. So we are not supposed to have. And my fight with everyone is like, why we are doing it actually? Like we don't need that much food. आज की डेट में जितना food produce होता है is more than enough for everyone.
Okay, this is completely contradictory to what everyone listens to or reads in the newspaper.
No, I can give you a calculation if you have a calculator. So amount of the protein we produce.
Let's do it, sir.
I did a calculation actually. You can, so our population is say 8.5 billion.
Yes.
Consider everyone is adult.
Okay.
Adult needs 60 gram protein per day. आप multiply करो उसको 60 gram से.
8. I just multiplied by 8.5 into 60.
Yeah. 60 gram.
That's it. Okay. 0.6.
Yeah. 0.06.
0.06. Sorry. अच्छा हुआ मैंने biology ली सर, maths नहीं ली. Yeah. Okay.
So 5.1 million kilo.
Yes.
Billion kilo.
Yes.
Now divide it by 1,000, so it will be tons.
Okay.
This is the tons of protein we need to produce.
0.0051 tons.
Million tons.
Million tons.
Million tons.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at the amount of lentils and beans and wheat and crops, the total protein we produce is 8 times more than this one.
Whoa. Okay.
Is 8 times more protein than this protein. And ये हमने सबको adult माना है, सबको पूरा RDA value देने के लिए. But फिर भी we need to produce more protein. Why we need to produce more protein? We are already producing too much protein. Now what is happening is we are wasting a lot of protein. But आपको direct जो protein बनता है, because protein only plant can produce. And not protein, any food. Okay, other than plants, nobody else can produce food.
Correct.
Everybody
absolutely
can only consume.
Yes.
अब हमको direct नहीं खाना है उसको. So I'm not pro-vegetarian or vegan, but I calculate based on mathematics. What makes sense? So one way is you eat this protein directly. Then you actually will reduce protein production to almost quarter at least right away. But nahi khana hai humko. What we need to eat is we need to convert it into something more expensive. Because industry ko benefit to tab hai na. This is farmer to consumer. We have so much of protein and enough for every consumer in the world. But for that, I need to buy directly from the farm. If you look at like 100 years back or 50 years back, that's what the food system was. Okay, we go to the vegetable, like farmers, we buy vegetable, food, everything. Like at my home, even the wheat was coming directly from the farm. We are not going to supermarket to buy Ashirwad atta.
Right.
That was the way it was. And that time there was no food security actually problem. So in fact, the problem is like as a food industry, we were supposed to solve the problem. But what is now is we are creating a problem because what we are on the name of value addition, we are actually reducing the quantity and I would say degrading the value and reducing the quantity so that now there is more food security issue. Originally, there was no food security issue. I lived in a small village where the people who have farms or who don't have farm, everybody was getting food. Like we never bought vegetables, to be honest. Until I was in 9th grade in my village, we never bought vegetables. It was always coming from someone. And this one has brinjals, this one has potato, this one has something, and nobody was paying anything. Because our farms were wheat farm. So we exchanged on the wheat. Industry kahi usme thi hi nahi. And sabko sab kuch mil raha tha. But then industry came in between. And then they started like using more resources and delivering less food. And that's where I have problem with the meat. Not as a, like ethical, yes, I also don't want cruelty. But as a science, that's a big problem. Because आप 10 kilo protein use karke, then you are producing 1 kilo protein as a chicken.
Explain that.
So to grow one chicken, like so typically the chicken is 1.5 kilo bird, right? To grow that from the egg, in its lifespan, it eats around 10 kilo of the food, right? And water is more actually. In 10 kilo food, how many people can feed at least? I would say 20, 25
easily
people. In 1 kilo chicken, you get around 700 gram of edible portion of the meat, which will feed 4 to 5 people.
So मैं तो 2 to 3 मानता हूँ.
2 to 3. Exactly. It depends. अब आपने 10 लोगों का खाना को convert किया 2 लोगों के खाने में. Is it value addition or value degradation?
Yeah.
It's degradation.
Yeah.
And then we are crying for sustainability. कि वो sustainable है. Obviously sustainable नहीं है. So that means if you want everyone to eat protein from the meat, that means you need to produce 10 times more crops than what we need the protein for people. If you eat directly the proteins from the plant, you don't need that.
Yes.
Because the ratio is 1:1.
But then the argument is that the plant does not have good quality protein, the bioavailability is less.
Agree. But that's also a calculated narrative given. Okay, so no food is complete. No food is complete, because if you eat only meat, will you get all the vitamins? No, you won't get it. So none of the food is complete, but it's never required that you only eat one food, like lentils or dal. हम लोग बोलते हैं. Okay, agree. It doesn't have all amino acid. Meat also doesn't have all amino acid. They also lack some.
Correct.
Just like lentils, they lack. But if you look traditionally, we never eat only one lentil. As soya है, वो हम soya
When you
नहीं
talk
खाते
about
हैं.
India correctly, yeah.
Everywhere. बाकी जगह पे भी वो लोग ना even when they eat meat, they have some beans, they have vegetables,
Yes.
they have mashed
It's
potato.
not meat, just meat.
कोई भी नहीं खाता ऐसा. So same, why we don't talk the same way? So meat, अकेला कौन खाता है? Nobody eats meat. But when we talk about plant proteins, we talk about ये complete नहीं है. अरे meat भी complete नहीं है. Complete तो कुछ भी नहीं है. So you have to combine things, ना. So if you combine multiple beans and multiple vegetable product, then you get the complete nutrition. आपको पूरे amino acid, पूरे vitamin, सब कुछ मिलेगा. And it is not new. Like we hide that actually. If you look traditionally, हम लोग वैसे ही खाते थे. Especially in Rajasthan. I still have mixed dal actually. हम लोग वो 5 पंचरत्न दाल बनाते थे. And we even today we do. And we didn't know why we were doing it. But there was a reason for it. कि mixed dal is better. कि उससे आपको complete nutrition मिलेगा. In fact, our traditional food was that scientific कि we have protein for each digestivity they may not know. Okay, PETROCHEMICALS value they may not know. But उनको ये पता था कि मूंग की दाल easy digest होती है.
Sir, PETROCHEMICALS को एक बार just explain PETROCHEMICALS and then very briefly and then we'll move forward. So
PETROCHEMICALS is protein digestive
corrected amino acid.
Corrected amino acid score. Yes. But why it is important? So protein is nothing but a combination of amino acids.
Okay.
Amino acids is the backbone or the base of the protein, right? अब कितने amino acid होंगे वो हर एक प्रोटीन में अलग अलग है. Egg में different है, lentil में different है, meat में different है, the combination.
Which is called the amino acid profile of a certain food.
Of certain food.
Right.
Now, there are total 19 amino acids.
Correct.
Okay, उसमें से there are some essential because we can't, and essential is based on not what we need. It's actually what we can't produce. Correct. So we must eat it from outside. Rest amino acid actually body can produce by itself.
Yes.
You don't need to eat them.
Yes.
बहुत सारे लोग बोलते हैं कि वो पूरे 19 नहीं है. एक्चुअली 19 आपको क्यों चाहिए? आपको केवल एसेंशियल चाहिए. बात की तो आप बनाओगे ना.
राइट.
वो जो 11 अमीनो एसिड है वो हर एक में अलग अलग है प्रोफाइल. मीट में भी अलग है, लेंटिल में अलग है. बट इफ यू आर लुकिंग लाइक पी प्रोटीन इज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट डाइवर्स अमीनो एसिड प्रोफाइल. उसमें ऑल अमीनो एसिड्स हैं. स्पेशली जो इसमें भी 2 वैल्यू होती हैं कि एक soluble amino acid होते हैं which you can absorb easily, because like when we eat protein, what happens, there is an acid in our gut which breaks down the protein and convert it into free amino acids, जिसको हम लोग बाहर hydrolysis बोलते हैं.
Right.
That's what happens in our body.
Right.
Then the amino acids are released and they go. Now this process of hydrolysis, how fast it will happen, and that's actually the digestivity index. But दो हैं. PETROCHEMICALS is based on the amino acid profile क्या है, कौन कौन से amino acid. DIAS is based on actual digestivity, कि we gave protein to a particular animal, it digested it, and then we measured the amino acid profile in the कितना blood में absorb हुआ है.
Okay.
PETROCHEMICALS is calculated based on the amino acid profile. Based on amino acid profile, we calculate कि उसका डाइजेस्टिविटी कितना होगा.
Okay.
DIS is actual measured.
Okay.
So that's a difference. But it's a clinical trial. It takes time. It's expensive also. So generally we go for PETROCHEMICALs because it's quick. Is आप amino acid profile निकाल लिया.
Borderline idea लग जाता है.
If you know amino acid, you will know कि because amino acid digestivity is very well known.
Right.
है ना. तो उससे आपको पता लग जाएगा. When you know the profile, you know कि इसका इतना होगा. But DIS is a lengthy test. Plus, it's clinical. So again, you need to go back to the animals. You need to inject it. or feed them and then measure it, which is also has question marks.
Right.
So normally PETROCHEMICALS is more recognized and easily acceptable by everyone. So in our product from very first day, we make sure it's better than meat. So we get the PETROCHEMICALS value 0.98, which is better than chicken actually, from the plant protein itself, without hydrolysis.
Okay. So we were on why meat say better plant protein hai.
Yeah.
Right. Now, now I want to shift the focus a little bit on the product that you are getting.
Okay. Yeah.
And what you are doing. So to start with, you are solving the problem of protein deficiency in India. Correct?
And globally.
And globally. Let us talk about India for now.
Yeah.
Sir, what is the problem at the moment in the country regarding protein?
So we have a protein deficiency. Okay. And it's not new. Okay. Can I ask one thing?
Please.
You understand Hindi, right?
Yes, yes. बिल्कुल sir. क्या बात कर रहे हो?
Okay. फैट को हिंदी में क्या बोलते हैं?
मोटापा या मोटा?
No, जैसे उसका टर्म है तेल या वसा.
वसा, okay.
Okay. I am Hindi medium.
नहीं सर.
So वसा.
इस मुद्दे पे मुझे बहुत अच्छी तारीफ मिल चुकी है कुछ पहले की पॉडकास्ट में. तो आप बोलो प्लीज.
कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स है.
जी. शर्करा.
शुगर है
जी.
शर्करा है. प्रोटीन का हिंदी नाम बताओ.
No idea.
It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. I searched the whole Hindi dictionary. प्रोटीन का हिंदी नाम फैट का है, कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स का है, शुगर का है, सबका है, आयरन का है. प्रोटीन का कोई नाम नहीं है. बिकॉज वो हमारे फूड सिस्टम में उसको कभी इम्पोर्टेंस मिली ही नहीं.
आयुर्वेद में प्रोटीन का नाम नहीं.
आप सर्च करो कहीं भी. प्रोटीन को हमने कभी एज ए वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट न्यूट्रिशन डिफाइन ही नहीं किया. सो आई डिडंट फाइंड अ नेम फॉर हिंदी नेम. हिंदी या संस्कृत या कोई भी प्रोटीन का नहीं मिला. बाकी सबका आपको इजीली मिलेगा. मीन इट्स कॉमन.
सो करूँ अभी देख लें. maybe we find it. I don't know. I'm not questioning what you're saying, but I want to know. I'm very curious. What is the Ayurvedic name for protein?
Yeah.
In Ayurveda, the concept of protein is related to 𝗬𝗂, which refers to the muscle tissue. Ayurvedic nutrition emphasizes balanced intake of all 6 tastes: sweet, sour, salty, bitter, pungent, and astringent, to nourish the body and tissues. Specific foods like lentils, beans, dairy, nuts, and seeds are considered.
तो आयुर्वेदा के अंदर या संस्कृत में प्रोटीन का कोई नाम है या नहीं?
In Ayurveda and Sanskrit, there isn't a direct word for protein as we understand it today. However, 𝗬𝗂 refers to muscle tissue.
Okay. Okay.
So that's the generation why we are protein deficient. That's my.
Wow.
I researched it.
Wow. Okay.
It doesn't exist. हम लोग का आप देखोगे ना ट्रेडिशनली हमारा पूरा न्यूट्रिशन फोकस था फैट पे. घी.
Yeah.
Right? Because more ghee, more healthier.
दूध दही का खाना. Yeah.
एक्चुअली दूध में भी बहुत प्रोटीन नहीं है. जबकि रियल ये होता था कि दूध हम पीते थे उसमें से जो प्रोटीन निकलता है वे वो बुल्स को दिया जाता था. दैट वाज नॉट इवन अ इम्पोर्टेंट न्यूट्रिशन. उसमें से हमने घी निकाल दिया. दैट वाज द मोस्ट एक्सपेंसिव मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट थिंग फ्रॉम द दूध. बाकी इज वेस्ट. सो प्रोटीन वाज नेवर अ टारगेट. सो इफ यू आर 80% deficient, you shouldn't be surprised. Now, दूसरा उसका एक और था even meat, how we see it. So it was not directly related, but it was also based on कि who needs more protein. है ना? So ये जैसे meat था, it was like focused on जो warriors community है, क्षत्रिय उनके लिए था because उनको allowed था.
जी.
Because उनको नीड लगी उसकी. क्योंकि इफ आई वांट टू बिकम स्ट्रॉन्ग मस्कुलर एंड ऑल आई नीड टू ईट समथिंग जो मस्कुलर बनाता है.
जो मल युद्ध करते थे वो रेसलर्स थे या वॉरियर्स थे वो लोग खाते थे.
तो उनको एंड दैट्स व्हाई आवर सोसाइटी अलाउड देम एक्चुअली. उनको था कि नहीं वो खा सकते हैं बाकी लोगों को नहीं खाना है ना. दैट्स हाउ आवर सोसाइटी और द कल्चर हैज ग्रोन. अब नाउ द थिंग्स हैव चेंज्ड. एंड अभी नाउ like
उसको थोड़ा सा पास
yeah.
करना।
So now you are not following the same work, और आपको युद्ध नहीं करना है actually. Now, but the thing is, everybody needs protein.
Yes.
Even today, like if I ask like my family, they will say protein ज़्यादा चाहिए. हाँ, तुम कौन से जिम जाते हो?
बिल्कुल
अभी भी वही है.
बिल्कुल.
जबकि that's not the truth. Protein is needed even when you are 70-year-old. Because initially, okay, when I'm young, I need it for growth. But then I need it for repair. Like protein is one of the main reason why our average age is less actually. Because हम लोग 60 साल के बाद तो प्रोटीन छोड़ ही देते हैं कि अभी क्या जरूरत है, अभी कौन सी मसल बनानी है.
सर, जो लोग ये पॉडकास्ट सुन रहे हैं, फॉर दोज ऑफ हु नो इट, ग्रेट. बट कुछ लोग ऐसे भी होंगे जो मे बी एजेड होंगे या फिर कम उम्र के होंगे, और ऑल्सो फीमेल्स, तो उनकी शायद नॉलेज इस एरिया में इतनी ज़्यादा नहीं होगी. आई एम अज्यूमिंग जिनकी नहीं है, उनके लिए कैन यू ब्रीफली एक्सप्लेन कि प्रोटीन ह्यूमन बॉडी में क्यों ज़रूरी है? और आप चाहे आप वर्कआउट करते हो या नहीं करते हो, प्रोटीन क्यों लेना चाहिए आपको?
प्रोटीन इज अवर, लाइक जैसे बिल्डिंग बनाते हैं, दैट्स योर स्ट्रक्चर, है ना. अब वो बिल्डिंग नई है या पुरानी है, स्ट्रक्चर तो चाहिए ना आपको. अदरवाइज व्हाट विल हैपन इज द बिल्डिंग विल कोलैप्स, एंड दैट्स व्हाट हैपन्स. इंडिया में टिपिकली हम लोग बोलते हैं हम लोग बुढ़े जल्दी होते हैं एक्चुअली, बिकॉज वी ईट लेस प्रोटीन. तो हमारा जो बिल्डिंग ब्लॉक है वो प्रोटीन है.
तो हमारी बॉडी में मसल्स हो गए, प्रोटीन
मसल्स हो गए,
प्लस बाल प्रोटीन के बने,
बाल प्रोटीन. नो, एवरी सेल बिकॉज रिपेयर के लिए आपको नई सेल्स बनानी है. रिप्लेस अंटिल वी डाई आवर सेल्स आर रिप्लेसिंग, है ना. रिप्लेस होने के लिए आपको चाहिए प्रोटीन. सेल्स को ग्रोथ करने के लिए 1 से 2, 2 से 3, 3 से 4 होने के लिए प्रोटीन चाहिए. Because the DNA is protein. And if you don't have protein, the growth will not happen. Now, growth is needed for both purpose. When you are growing up to 21 year, you need it for growth. उसके बाद में भी repair तो चल रही है ना. You need protein for repair. So whether you are woman, you need it for beauty, because हमारी skins जो होती है ना वो soft या वो हो जाती है, because it's not repairing itself.
Wrinkled हो जाती
है because it's not repairing. ऐसे ही नॉर्मल है मसल्स, लाइक लॉस बहुत जल्दी होता है.
ओल्ड एज में लोग फ्रेल हो जाते हैं, हमारे बहुत ज्यादा मूवमेंट नहीं कर पाते हैं,
बिकॉज आपकी प्रोटीन नहीं है, तो दे आर नॉट रिपेयरिंग. सो इनफैक्ट एज यू गेट ओल्डर यू नीड अ बैलेंस प्रोटीन. हाँ, बहुत ज्यादा नहीं खाना है, बिकॉज डाइजेस्टिविटी एंड ऑल्सो किडनीज, बिकॉज दे ऑल्सो नीड टू वर्क आउट टू डिस्कार्ड द byproduct of the protein digestion. But you need minimum protein, and that is typically like 0.8 gram to 1 gram per kilo of body weight that we have to eat until we die.
For example, if somebody is weighing 80 kgs, करीब 80 ग्राम प्रोटीन एक दिन में
60 से 80 ग्राम आपको खाना चाहिए, irrespective of age or gender. उतना खाना है. Now, if you are doing additional workout, आप जिम जा रहे हैं या एक्सरसाइज कर रहे हैं, then you need even more.
तो 1.5 to 2 हो गया.
हाँ, because उसमें दोनों पर्पज के लिए, one is to build new muscles, plus उसमें डैमेज भी ज़्यादा होता है actually, because when we exercise there is a damage. We need more to repair it.
Yes.
वो दोनों के लिए आपको उनको, so they need more protein, but minimum 0.8 is must. We need to have that much of protein. Otherwise, अभी like recently, if you have read one article in Times of India, there is a very clear association of protein with cardiac diseases. Now, muscles are everywhere. Okay, हम लोग क्या, exactly, हम लोग क्या है ना, ये muscles पे focus करते हैं, but actually the most important muscles which we need to protect in our body is the heart.
Correct.
And it's a muscle, and most important, we don't care about that muscle actually. And that also need repair. उसका भी regeneration होता है cells का, it also damage. We need protein for that also. The whole our blood vessel system, most importantly our neuro system, is also a chain of cells. They are not copper wire. They are cells.
Absolutely.
They also damage. We also need to repair them. So all that basic building block जो हमारा है, उसको तो maintain करना है ना.
Right.
We need protein for that. Otherwise, तो it will be the same system like जो हमारा infrastructure होता है, bridge बनता है, after that we don't repair.
एक बारिश आई और खत्म.
Because we don't repair it. Building बनती है, then we don't paint it, we don't repair it.
Also for immunity purposes
everything,
and everything.
Everything.
So basically protein is
the building block and we need it actually.
So protein is की need तो हमने establish कर दी. अब इंडिया में when I was doing my research on the podcast, I found out that on an average, an Indian is eating about 60 to 63 grams of protein per day.
Yeah, that's average.
हाँ, तो मैंने ये अपने आप से सवाल पूछा कि यार फिर डेफिशिएंसी कहाँ है? क्योंकि अगर एक एवरेज बंदा 60 kgs का है और वो 60 to 63 grams का प्रोटीन खा रहा है, तो फिर डेफिशिएंसी कहाँ है? तो then you say that the problem is that we are calculating the average of it. So can you explain this?
So हर चीज में हम लोग ना एवरेज कर देते हैं and average is not good. First of all, अपना एवरेज बॉडी वेट देखेंगे इंडिया का is not 60 ग्राम. Adults mostly they are weighing 80 plus mostly and more. So पहले तो वो 60 ग्राम को जो एवरेज बोलते हैं ना, that's not right average even because our average body weight is higher because of obesity and all. उसमें से भी फिर there is a population which is urban, and if you look at the articles, even urban population has 73% protein deficient. Now, sometimes the deficiency is a bit tricky word. Okay, I don't call deficiency. I call it inadequate protein consumption.
Okay,
that's better because in deficiency means like you are not getting even बेसिक प्रोटीन टू सर्वाइव.
डेफिशिएंसी के अंदर ये हो गया कि अगर आपके अंदर कमी है उस लेवल तक, क्या वो आपको प्रॉब्लम कॉज कर रही है?
प्रोटीन का प्रॉब्लम क्या है? जैसे आपका विटामिन सी कम है, इम्यूनिटी होगी, विटामिन ई प्रॉब्लम है, देन योर हेयर ग्रोथ एंड ऑल. प्रोटीन की डेफिशिएंसी आपको पता नहीं लगती है. इवन लाइक द किड्स यू सी माल न्यूट्रिशन, जैसे विटामिन का माल न्यूट्रिशन है, आयरन का माल न्यूट्रिशन है, तो देन यू विल हैव लाइक द blood problems and all. Protein में क्या होगा? उसकी growth नहीं होगी and he won't even realize it. So genetically, if someone is supposed to grow 5.5 or 6 feet, वो उतना grow नहीं होगा. You might observe a recent very good trend actually. अभी in every family, you look at the new generation coming and whoever is like well-to-do family and they are getting good nutrition, next to next generation उनकी height बढ़ रही है. Like in my family, I am the shortest. My younger brother, and we are all same family, is taller. Then younger is taller. My son is even taller. And the youngest niece of my younger brother, she's still young, but she's growing the most tall. Now it's the same genetics of everyone. We are all same family, right? But maybe it's because they are getting, like, as we grow economically and all, they all keep on getting better nutrition. तो genes तो थे, but genes को भी protein चाहिए ना growth होने के लिए, and like we never focused on that. Now they are able to focus, they are able to consume the right nutrition, तो the same genes are expressing. तो protein का the second is the जो cardiac problem है. अभी like India is epicenter of cardiac diseases. Like even in young people, like that's the only place where you can see young people are getting like cardiac arrests and all those things. And that's where like the protein versus fat, we have to change the mindset actually. Because हम लोग को पहले था घी खाना है and all. It was fine actually. If I was a farmer, I was living in a farm, I was getting up at 8, going to farm, doing hard work. Okay, I need that much of energy. But in our today's lifestyle, do I really need that much of carbs or fat? I don't need actually. I just need right protein and right balance. वो नहीं है actually. So we need to bring protein to even urban population or office going population जो कि like they are not exercising, they are not doing hard work, but उनका repair नहीं हो पा रहा है actually. And then suddenly what happens is, and it doesn't happen overnight. That's one big problem. हम लोग क्या सोचते हैं कि okay, whole my 30 years life, I never eat enough protein, I never did exercise, and now suddenly after 30 years I got a job in Mumbai, I started earning a decent salary, and then I joined a very good gym, and then I bought protein supplements. That's a disaster actually. You can't just instruct your body कि now suddenly I want to become six pack. No, you never did exercise. You never had that much of protein. पहला तो आपको digestivity problem आएगा because you never had that much of protein. Then second is your body's metabolism is not designed for exercise, man. Why you are doing it? Why you are pushing it too hard? Okay, do it slowly. You need to get it to the like it's like if you buy a 800 car and now suddenly you put a power like fuel in it. But engine तो वही है ना same. It's not going to go 300 kilo per hour. So हम लोग क्या वो लगता है. Yesterday I was sharing this example and they give me a big example actually. So this is Suzuki की Ertiga is on the same chassis of 800. वो साइज तो बड़ा कर दिया उसका है ना. इंजन वही 1000 cc है उसका. Now what do you expect from that car, man? It won't become a Toyota or like 3000 cc car. It will still remain same. Same is with our body. So we can't push it. So we have to start the right nutrition from early stage. So when we were going to this midday meal scheme, we met the education minister in Karnataka. He asked, why you want to do in this one? Why you don't make a premium brand and all those things? I said, no, उनके पास बहुत choice है. They have so many protein brands and lot of choices. I want to bring protein to the generation जो आज से, which is our future actually. That generation is our future. They need to get right nutrition so that they are healthy, their growth is right. Then only we will be able to grow. Na?
Okay. Sir, so established that average is not the correct yardstick to measure whether India के protein deficiency है कि नहीं है. Now there is a protein deficiency for various reasons कि हम लोग हमारे डाइट में ट्रेडिशनली प्रोटीन नहीं है, खासकर वेजिटेरियन डाइट में. फिर अगर आप लेंटिल से बोलते हो कि प्रोटीन पूरा हो जाएगा तो लेंटिल से और भी चीजें आती हैं लाइक आप अगर उठा के देखो तो कार्ब्स बहुत ज्यादा हैं प्रोटीन से कंपैरेटिवली, राइट. ऑल्सो द अफोर्डेबिलिटी फैक्टर, इफ यू वांट टू हैव प्रोटीन इट इज एक्सपेंसिव. तो जो एवरेज पॉपुलेशन है वो इजीली प्रोटीन नहीं अफोर्ड कर सकती, राइट. So now Shandy Global is trying to solve this problem by making protein available to people who otherwise cannot afford it. Right? In short, can you tell me how are you doing that?
So the deficiency or low protein consumption is driven by main three factors in our opinion. There might be more actually, but we are focused on three factors. So one is the affordability. Most people can't afford a lot of protein. If I talk about egg, which we consider the cheapest protein, because last week only I was hearing somebody saying, there was a comedian actually, he was commenting politically that some people, they are against egg in the schools, but so he was politically commenting. So that's not my area, but egg is the cheapest protein. Why we are not letting kids eat it?
Yes.
My cousin, that's not cheapest protein, man. So egg is 6 rupees. One egg is 6 rupees, which has 6 gram protein and almost like 20 gram cholesterol and fat. So first of all, I doubt whether this is the right way to eat it. Now, if you need 60 gram protein, that means you need 10 eggs per day, one person. 60 rupees. If you have 4 people in the family, average family, the 240 rupees is just protein. Now, if we look at the 70% population, जो कि 500 rupees per day से नीचे जिनकी household income है, how you expect 240 rupees just on protein? It will never happen, never. So we need to bring protein which is affordable to everyone. The second problem is like, okay, you might be very health conscious, you might have your diet chart and everything, but that's not the average life. Like I lived in Mumbai for almost 6-7 years. And a middle class Mumbai or any metro cities who comes from a small town, he want to make his living. Their life is like they get up at 7, वो bike उठाता है या train लेता है, सुबह जो भी मिला. Typically what they get is vada pav or samosa or something, he get going. Lunch जहाँ मिला खा लिया. शाम को आके, if he is lucky, he will have a good dinner at home, right? That's what average Indian is. Now, if you expect them that they will have a diet chart to follow, no, actually. And now we can tell them a story, we can motivate them, but it's not going to happen. So what we want to do is make protein part of the same meal they eat casually. On the go, in the school, in the office, wherever you are eating, we want to make the same meal more balanced diet. Rather than giving someone a lecture that no, you need to follow this regime, you need to follow this diet plan. That's not going to happen.
Not everybody can eat consciously.
No.
Because most people just eat.
Just eat.
As a part of their life.
Right.
And also, like, I totally agree with you. क्योंकि आज अगर मैं सोच के खाऊं कि मैं यार हाई प्रोटीन डाइट खाऊंगा, in my family, from the income group that I belong, maybe it is possible.
Yeah.
Right? But for somebody who's a daily, like a laborer or a regular worker in any society, it is not possible to consciously choose कि मैं high protein ही खाऊं हर बार.
No.
And especially if the person who's cooking the food for you is not educated in this field.
Yeah.
Right? दूसरी बात, हमारी eating habits ऐसी हैं, हमारा taste इस तरह से develop हुआ है कि हम उस taste को एकदम से बदल नहीं सकते. तो ये भी एक बहुत बड़ा road block है. So what you're trying to say is, you're trying to make this easily available in the current set system.
Yeah. Okay. So the third one is the way we eat. And I love our culture. I love our food, actually. Even like people think non-vegetarian is a high protein. But you look at the chicken dish we prepare, chicken tikka masala ya jo bhi hai. Butter chicken. And calculate how much is exactly protein there.
The only thing healthy about that is if you eat only the chicken in it, but otherwise kuch bhi nahi hai, of course.
Pura ratio uska hai. Actually, it's more carbs and more fat than the protein itself. And that's how it is. Because mostly, like I have friends. Actually, there was a Maharashtrian friend, very good friend. And he's a bit meat eater. वो chicken वो रोज खाता है. But वो खाता अपना Indian style में है. So he came to Singapore. I said, okay, I'm vegetarian, but okay, let's go to some place. So I bring him to a Chinese restaurant. And Chinese restaurant, it was a chicken rice, which is a boiled chicken with little bit sauce on it and rice. He didn't even touch it.
Yeah.
मैंने क्या हुआ? Why? बोला नहीं ऐसा थोड़ा ना खाता हूँ मैं. मैंने कहा ऐसा क्या है? चिकन एक्चुअली. बोला नहीं ऐसे नहीं खा सकता मैं. No, and he was like hating it because उसमें क्या skin के साथ रखा हुआ था वो. He was feeling disgusted actually. So then I realized मैंने कि actually तुम चिकन नहीं खाते, तुम मसाला खाते हो then. That's how our design is. दाल भी बनाते हैं. If you look at our दाल में one bowl hardly has like 20 to 30 gram lentil. है ना? बाकी उसमें मसाला, then spices, then gravy,
mainly
then
water,
everything and water. So protein उसमें 20 gram में protein तो hardly 6 gram है actually. So we are not getting it. So that's our cultural and the way we eat it. So and again, I don't want to change it. I love it. We are trying to make the same meal more proteinous. You eat the way you are. So rather than lentil, like we have a product which is a lentil replacement. It's same chana dal, but it's not 20% protein, it's 70% protein.
Wow, okay.
So even with the same 20 gram lentil, with all your gravy, all your onion, all your tomatoes, you'll get 30 gram protein by the lentil itself. So I'm not changing your taste, I'm not changing anything, but giving more protein in the same food we eat every day.
Okay. Yeah. Sir, abhi very interestingly put that you are keeping everything the same but increasing the protein quantity in it.
Yeah.
Two questions come to my mind.
Yeah.
Ek to, give me some examples of the kind of products that you are launching.
Yeah.
And second, how are you doing it? अभी हमने पॉडकास्ट की बिगिनिंग में बात करी प्रोसेस, अल्ट्रा प्रोसेस्ड, chemical preservatives, adding chemical additives, all of that stuff. Is it does it have this all in it, or is it safe to eat? मतलब बहुत सारे क्वेश्चन आएंगे क्योंकि जब भी कोई चीज too good to be true होती है तो हमेशा मन में सवाल आता है. तो
absolutely
answer these two questions. एक तो किस टाइप के प्रोडक्ट्स आप लॉन्च कर रहे हो, और how you are increasing the quantity of protein.
So first I'll answer type of products actually. So for 3 segments, one is the affordable protein, and we are focusing on children there because we can't tackle everyone in the beginning. So we are focusing on children, and then what they like to eat, what they like to drink. So typically like kids, they like chocolate drinks and so on. So we are launching first, we call it Proti. Is
Proti.
Okay. So kids friendly actually. They're not like to call the whole name. So we sorted Proti. So
nice
kids would love it. It's a chocolate drink, 15 gram protein per serving.
15 gram proteins per serving. Okay.
Serving at 10 rupees. So typically, bacha, and we'll start from the school. School, actually we are giving at less than 10 rupees because that's our deal with government that
in midday meals.
Yeah, part of the midday meal. So, but the purpose is they get 15 gram protein, जो कि पूरा midday meal मिला के नहीं मिलता है 15 gram protein because उसमें rice है, थोड़ी सी दाल है, even egg भी दिया तो 6 gram. There's no way. Plus, kids don't really like it. They want something more fun.
Yeah, of course.
And so chocolate drinks, hot chocolate is something which they like. Garmi hai, so you can put it in cold water. And then they can drink. And 10 rupees is a price जो वो बाद में भी जाके शॉप से खरीद के ड्रिंक बना के पी सकता है. Actually, 10 rupees is like the price which kids will pay to enjoy, to have a good drink actually. More important thing what I loved is when I studied in the same Sarkari school actually. I didn't have an opportunity to study in. At that time midday meal was also not there. I never had a chocolate drink actually. I didn't have all these drinks. So also personally I have a, and abhi bhi I go to those schools, abhi bhi unko like chocolate drinks and all those things is still not part of their. So personally also I believe ki I need to bring it to them actually. So I couldn't get it, but if I can bring, I should bring it to those people. Abhi like my son, he has everything. Okay, kids in Jaipur, they have like so many drinks, so many bars and so on. So then it doesn't really satisfy the whole purpose. When I bring it to them, then it feels like abhi I eat it actually, which I couldn't eat because wo time pe to even there was no lunch. I have to go to home to have a lunch, and मेरा घर फिर भी पास में था, so I could go. बहुत सारे बच्चे थे जो ढाणियों से आते थे, they can't even go home actually. तो वो तो टॉफी लंच था उनका actually. I want to change that actually, and अभी भी है वैसा. It's not changed a lot. So if I can bring them a nice hot chocolate in the lunch, I'll be most happy. Plus they will get a protein. So that's one product we are starting. The second product is like soya chunks, but soya chunk has like a very soya taste. Plus soya also has its own ifs and buts.
Hormonal imbalance
and all.
If you eat in too much quantity.
And plus India is not very soya pro actually. हम लोग को if I ask like which beans you like, rajma, चना.
हाँ, जो लोग कॉन्शियसली ज्यादा प्रोटीन खाना चाहते हैं वो ही शायद सोया को ज्यादा पसंद करते हैं. लाइक आजकल सोया के नाम पे लोग सोया चाप खाते हैं, बट सोया चाप इज बेसिकली नॉट सोया, ऑल मैदा.
इस मैदा. So the second product is we want to bring is chunks, but not made from soya. Actually, they are made from chana, moong, peas, fava beans, white beans actually, and quinoa to bring the fibers. And good thing is it's 70 gram protein in dry basis.
So 100 gram of soya chunks will have 70 grams.
No, it's not soya chunk.
Oh, sorry, 100 grams of shandy soya chunks have...
Yeah. So the brand name is Chanja because it's made from chana.
Chanja?
Yeah.
Okay. So 100 grams of chanja has 70 grams of protein.
Then
70 grams of protein.
Yeah. And second thing is like people, they don't really like the sponginess, especially the vegetarians. Like my mom never eats that because it's so spongy and chewy. This product is not spongy and chewy. is just like cheese, paneer. So 70 gram protein. Third and most important thing is it doesn't have soya taste. Or it doesn't have any taste at all actually. So आप इसको दाल में डालो, it will taste like dal. You put it into potato curry, it will taste like potato curry. You put it in salad, you don't need to do anything. Just put salad dressing. You can make your salad high protein salad actually. So the neutral taste makes it versatile. You can use it into almost anything. Like Australia, we sell this. We just started selling it. And most people are using it for salad. So in salad, you just put little salt and pepper, put a dressing, and then you can eat it.
So it looks like paneer?
No, it's a shred. It looks like actually little bit of chicken. Yeah, but not too much. It's very fibrous.
So this is it is like fibers of food. Okay.
Yeah. And it's dense.
Okay.
So
where in Australia are you selling it?
So we are B2B actually.
Okay.
You'll be surprised. And that's another thing. People think like plant-based people and they don't buy actually. We are selling it to the most meat eaters people. We are selling it like we are selling mostly via catering actually. Any big music festival you go, you will find it there. So we are selling it at festivals, music festival, like large music festival. We are selling it at the games where like people are not really conscious
about what they're eating. They want to have a burger, like
they can eat anything.
Yeah.
We are actually selling. When we started it, people were like, "Are you mad? Why you are selling it at the music festival?" Because people are just drinking and they will eat
anything that comes their way. Yeah.
Why you think people eat like this sustainable and all those things? I said, no, I'm not telling anything of that actually. I'm just giving them a most delicious food with high protein. So they will eat it.
And that's a testament to how close it tastes to the real thing.
No, we don't actually even claim that actually.
Okay.
We claim that it's the most delicious protein. It's the most delicious way of eating protein. Even like if somebody doesn't really is affiliated to really eating chicken, and if I give them both, they will prefer this one because it tastes better than chicken even.
Okay.
So we don't say, we don't mimic thing, because that's one problem. Like why I should mimic to anything? Okay, like a lot of products in the market, they have their own identity. So that's why we call it chanja. We don't call it soya chunks. We don't call it meat alternative. We don't call it anything. It has its own identity. And soya chunks, when first time they were start selling actually, soya body, they didn't say anything. It's just soya chunks, and then it got its own market actually. So we believe in that. Like we don't want to mimic or replicate or anything. It's a unique protein, and it's what it is actually, and people are accepting it as it is, because calling it alternative or mimicking, that's not what we.
And that has also not worked.
It has not worked
because a big company, Beyond Meat, and all of these companies in the
US,
went
down actually.
They went down, yeah.
Because people, you can't fool people actually, and you shouldn't actually. So why should I? If somebody want to eat chicken, okay, he will eat chicken, or consciously he want to reduce, he will try something new, and if it is delicious, it is affordable, they will buy it. Why you need to mimic it to meat actually? Because
sorry, आप तो वो problem भी solve नहीं कर रहे हो. You are not going there.
Yeah.
You are not asking somebody to stop eating chicken and eat your product.
No.
What you are doing is you are providing protein to people who don't even get meat.
Yeah, and also the people who get it, I'm giving them another option. And maybe if they like this option better for like Australia, we don't promote it because of sustainability of meat. We say, okay, you can choose two proteins, protein with cholesterol, protein without cholesterol. And you give it a try. If you like protein without cholesterol, you continue with it.
How does the nutrition label look like?
So nutrition value, like this chanja, protein 70 gram, carbs, total carbs is 20 gram. It has iron, it has vitamin C, and around 4% moisture, water. That's all.
That's good.
And it doesn't absorb that much of water like soya chunks because it's not spongy, it's dense. So the water absorption is around 25 to 30%. So even after soaking, the total protein content is 35 gram per 100 gram. So if you eat 100 gram per day, your daily protein requirement is done. And you can eat it in different ways. Like morning, you can eat it in salad. Evening, you put it in curry. Or best thing is you just sprinkle salt and pepper and eat it.
No. Okay.
You don't need to do anything. Actually.
Okay. I'm curious. I'm going to try this for sure.
Actually, today I should have brought it. Actually.
No worries.
But I'll bring.
No worries.
And then
I'll pester you, sir.
You can edit. You can edit.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. So second one is the protein, the chanja, right? What is the next product?
The third is the range of casual foods. So like Australia, we started the pizza base. So pizza base typically is like pizza is carbs, widely acceptable. Carb के अलावा कुछ नहीं है उसमें. Then you have to put topping.
More or less, yeah.
Topping में आप कितना डाल सकते हो? How much chicken you can put? But the ratio of carbs versus protein will still be worst because topping तो आप base से ज़्यादा topping नहीं डाल सकते. Right. Then is cheese. Now, our base protein, we call it sprouting actually. So our protein is also not, we don't call it protein, we call it sprouting. So we add sprouting into because it's neutral in taste. So you can add it into your pizza base. It will not change the taste of the pizza base. It will still remain the same pizza base. But you can bring the protein up to 30% in the base itself. You are not adding cheese. You are not adding topping. Still, the protein content is much higher than
pizza base के अंदर 30% extra protein.
30% protein है because normally
30% extra नहीं 30%
protein है, not extra. Because extra is a gimmick. Because originally कितना था किसी को नहीं पता. So even I put little bit protein and I can say double the protein. So on all our labelings and marketing, we never say high, double, all those things. We put numbers, black and white actually. So when we say 30 gram means it's 30 gram. We don't say double. Like typically na people they market it ki higher protein. Like अभी आप जितने product देखेंगे ना सब में high protein. When you read the label उसमें 5% है उसको वो high बोल रहे हैं. We don't do that actually. So when we say high, we put 30 gram or 40 gram, whatever is the number, we put very bold in the front label itself.
Okay. So range of products. One is pizza base.
Then soups.
Soups. Okay.
People love soups in India.
So these are canned soups?
No. Like ready soups.
Okay.
Instant
soup. Like जैसे नॉर के soups
like नॉर के soups आते हैं. उसमें tomato है, mushroom है, corn है, and veg chicken भी है. Okay. So 4 soups so that people can drink in the winter. And if you look at the nutritional label of the Nor soup, उसमें starch है, उसके अलावा कुछ नहीं है. This one has 30 gram protein per serving. So you eat.
So 30 gram protein per serving is like
so you eat 100
whey
gram
protein supplement में भी नहीं होता 24 gram.
So आप 150 gram chicken खाओ, pure chicken breast. या soup पियो, it's the same thing. Supplement is also not that much actually.
Yeah, I mean, if you are eating, say normally one scoop of protein supplement is somewhere around 30 grams.
Yeah.
उसमें 24-25 gram protein होता है.
Yep. And then cookies. So then is a snacks range. उसमें cookies है. So different cookies actually. Again, same. 30 gram per 100 gram.
Yep. Okay, sir, I have 2 questions here, which I'm a little skeptical about because it just sounds too good to be true.
Yeah.
When you're saying that you're making products like soup or cookies, isme how much of preservatives or chemical additives are you adding?
So not for this product actually. I can assure for all our products actually. In our proteins, there is no preservative, there are no chemicals, there are no genetically modified organisms at all.
And the second question is, then how are you getting the viability from it? Because anything that's natural does not have a longer shelf life.
No. So
and correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, no. That's true. So if you look at the protein, okay, so our base product is the protein, which is in a powder form. Now, powder form is a dry powder. You don't need a preservative in it. Now, how we bring the protein up? So we have core 3 patents with us. So all our technology have patents in Australia. So the first one is to make it complete. So we have a proprietary ratio of different proteins like fava beans, mung beans and all based on amino acid profiling.
So it is a complete amino acid profile that is required for you.
Yep. So first we did is we sorted out that our protein should be complete.
जो कि बहुत जरूरी है. खाली प्रोटीन खाना important नहीं है.
Yeah.
किस क्वालिटी का प्रोटीन आप खा रहे हो ये भी important.
And digestibility. So
bioavailability कितनी है उसकी और digestibility.
So the first patent was to create a protein which is complete and it has superior digestibility index. Okay. The second part was, okay, now we are sorted with that. Now it shouldn't have taste. Because if you want to use protein into all different variety of the foods, because cookies में आप pea protein नहीं डाल सकते, soya protein नहीं डाल सकते, because soya का taste इतना strong होता है, like you can buy soya protein isolate, but you can't put it there. Even लोग whey protein नहीं डाल पा रहे हैं, because people don't like whey taste in cookies.
End में थोड़ा bitter आ जाता है.
हाँ. So the second and most important target was कि it need to be clean taste, zero taste. So what we did is like, and then I think we talk about that. Naturally, there are process which makes them neutral, like sprouting.
Yes.
So you sprout the beans, automatically the taste will get better. And there's a technical reason for it. So like the bit, and that's where my flavor industry experience worked. So हम लोग जैसे flavor create करते हैं. So I can create almost any flavor. If you want bitterness, I can create bitterness also. So we understood first कि जो lentils में जो bitterness या जो typical smell आती है, वो आती क्यों है actually? So like आप मूंग है, dry मूंग में तो smell नहीं आ रही है ना, taste भी इतना बुरा नहीं होता है. When you start cooking it, then the smell starts coming. So what happens is like there are certain molecules which are there naturally, and when they, and not only मूंग, किसी भी food में वो taste develop होता है when you cook it. But to develop that taste, there are certain molecules which are already there. We call them precursors. So precursors are there. They will turn into any taste. Now it could be good taste or it could be bad taste. Like even meat, raw meat doesn't have that taste what roasted chicken has, right? The taste is actually developing when we are cooking it. And that happens through Maillard reaction, oxidation, so many processes. Now, there are two ways. एक तो the taste develop होगा, we can't stop it. Then you try to hide it with something. तो जैसे अभी बहुत सारे ब्रांड हैं जो pea protein या soya protein base हैं. What they do is उसमें वो बहुत सारा flavor डाल के they will try to mask that. But फिर भी वो पूरा नहीं जाता है. What we did, so we understood कि वो precursors क्या है. What are those initial molecules which are converting into that bitter or that unpleasant taste? Now, if I can deactivate those molecules somehow, then that taste will automatically not be there, right? Then I don't need to add any preservative, I don't need to add any masking, I don't need to add any flavors unless I want to flavor it. But as a base protein, I don't need to add anything. And then we started looking कि what are the natural processes जिसमें ये automatically होता है. So we explored a lot of processes. Then we found the sprouting as the best process जिसमें ये naturally होता है कि आप sprout करते हो, naturally उनका जो taste है, because and we studied like whole chemistry of sprouting. So we sprout the beans, we did GCMS analysis, then we see कि जो वो precursor molecules है उनकी concentration कैसे कैसे कम हो रही है, and we studied that whole deep science of that. But then the challenge was sprouting is a 4 days process, which is commercially difficult. Then we started looking, so any process, like, so we look processes differently. Okay, जैसे आप बोलेंगे sprouting, I will tell, okay, there were fatty acids, there were amino acids, there were carbohydrates, they react together. उसमें कुछ हार्मोन्स जो ऑलरेडी होते हैं वो एक्टिवेट, जब आप मॉइस्चर ऑक्सीजन आती है, दे एक्टिवेट, उससे वो जर्मिनेट होता है. So we look at that way. Now, can I accelerate that process? So what we did is we accelerated that sprouting process, but not real sprouting. उसमें से वो sprout निकल के नहीं आना है. What I wanted is only that portion जिसमें वो flavor reduce होता है, वो जो precursors कम होते हैं, I only wanted to accelerate that process. So what we did is we developed a process, and it's a normal process.
It's a natural process.
It's a natural process.
We're not adding anything or taking anything out.
वो भी आप नेचर से सीख सकते हो.
बट आप आर्टिफिशियली कुछ ऐड नहीं कर रहे.
किस क्लाइमेट में अभी आप यहाँ पे जर्मिनेट करो वो 2 घंटे में होगा. आप दूसरे क्लाइमेट में करोगे वहाँ पे जल्दी फसल ग्रो होती है. सो दैट्स आल्सो नेचुरल. सो वी नीड टू आइडेंटिफाई कि व्हाट आर द कंडीशंस जिसमें कि वो जर्मिनेशन बहुत फास्ट हो सकता है. सो यू कैन पुट यूवी लाइट, यू कैन पुट दिस, यू कैन पुट, देयर आर मेनी वेज actually to do it. Maintain a absolutely right temperature. जैसे ग्रीन हाउस में इनमें क्या करते हैं? We give them the best condition.
Controlled environment.
So we did exactly so. So we find those processes जहाँ पे वो sprouting, and we have to replicate only one reaction. मेरे को sprout नहीं करना है उसको. I don't want to grow the farm.
Correct.
So we have to just do that. So we develop that process, and as a result of the sprout, तो वो precursors खत्म हो गए उसमें से. There are no precursors which will develop into that bitterness or unpleasant taste. Now I have beans which doesn't have taste. Now the second thing is how we increase the concentration of the protein, because beans में तो वो दाल जितना ही है. So typically the beans have 2 portions. One is starch, one is protein. Then
starch is also carbohydrates.
Yeah.
Right.
So we split it. So then we dissolve it in water. Then we adjust the pH. That's typical. Then some part of the either starch will dissolve or protein will dissolve. So it's normal like separation. जैसे हम लोग पनीर सेपरेट करते हैं. पनीर में क्या करते हो? आप नींबू डालोगे, नींबू डाल के
आपने pH रिड्यूस किया
तो वो प्रोटीन अलग हो गया, वाटर अलग हो गया. Exactly we do the same. टोफू बनाते हैं, टोफू is the same process. उसमें आप जैसे ही कोई भी एसिड डालते हो, प्रोटीन and non-protein part separate, we do exactly same thing. उसके बाद में we grind the sprouts, then we do the same thing, we separate the protein, then we dry it, we heat it to dry 80 degree 90 degree. But whole process other than vinegar, you don't add anything.
Wow. Okay.
No additives, no chemicals, nothing. Then what we have is a dry powder जिसमें 2-3% moisture है. If you close it into closed pack, you don't need any preservative. फिर जब आप उसको use करेंगे application में, so the product we make, we don't add any preservatives or artificial flavors or anything, but we also supply powder to other customers. That's their choice what they do. We can't control like their formulation. If they are adding flavors or they are adding preservative, they can do whatever they want to do. But all our product, they don't have any preservative, flavor, artificial, anything.
Wow.
So that's the whole process we do.
Wow. No, I'm so happy that and so impressed कि आप कितने transparently बता रहे हो.
Yeah.
Because you are explaining the entire process आप मतलब out in the open.
इसमें प्रॉब्लम पता है क्या होती है? इंडस्ट्री शॉर्टकट ढूंढती है एक्चुअली, बिकॉज दे नीड टू डू फास्ट. उनको तो प्रोडक्ट लेके आना है. इन अवर केस अवर पर्पज वाज कि नहीं, मेरे को क्लीन प्रोडक्ट ही लेके आना है. वी वर नॉट वरीड कि मेरे को कुछ भी लाके लॉन्च करके देना है. इफ आई डोंट गेट इट इज फाइन, ओके, आई विल कंटिन्यू वर्किंग माय लाइफ. एक्चुअली
सर इनकी शेल्फ लाइफ कितनी होती है?
2 years एक्चुअली.
वाओ. Okay, just by like by reducing the moisture content.
Yeah, कोई भी
dehydrating it.
हाँ, means obviously you need to keep it closed.
Yeah, of course.
अगर खोला है फिर just like a wheat flour. It's just like wheat flour. जैसे आप wheat flour को treat करते हैं, you have to treat it just like that.
No. Okay.
We give 1 year declared because, and that's normal for any food business because technically 2 year shelf life है. उसमें क्या होता है कि reaching to the distributor, then reaching to the customer. Customer should get 1 year shelf life. What we do is we technically, if 2 years shelf life, we give 1 year customer shelf life on the pack because uska shipping time, all those things is also included. So finally customer के पास 1 साल है use करने के लिए. So that's also we do differently. नॉर्मली क्या होता है कि 1 साल की सेल्फ लाइफ है, बाय द टाइम इट अराइव टू यू
3-4 महीने बचे,
उसके 3-4 महीने बचे, देन 1 year की दी क्यों है? तो वी डोंट डू दैट एक्चुअली, वी इंश्योर दैट इज 2 years एंड कस्टमर विल डेफिनेटली गेट 1 year. बाकी जो है वी यूज इट फॉर शिपिंग एक्चुअली.
Okay. So from what I have gathered is that we are providing affordable protein to all age groups.
Yep.
From children in the midday meals to somebody who is eating casually, like pizza, breads, soups, cookies, and also to the elderly, and also to the masses with chanja, which is like soya chunks but not soya. Right? I don't see any way कि इसका कोई भी side effect है, because it's all natural. It is separated, packed. Everything is natural. There is no preservatives in this. I mean, this seems like a breakthrough, sir.
Yeah, our protein is actually breakthrough, and that's why we awarded proteins. And we got a lot of like awards for the protein innovation. So we are actually a protein innovation company, not a food company, I would say.
Wow.
Now we are turning it into food company. But
if you don't mind me asking, sorry, what is the valuation of the company right now, and what is the revenue that you're doing, sir?
So our last valuation is based on our last fundraising, which was $30 million. Now we are raising at around 50, although like that's very confidential, like what is our target valuation, but we are, I hope we get it. So $30 million converted to India.
30 million would be 240 crores.
Something. Currently our revenue, like last year we closed was 3.5 million. This year we are running to close around 5 million.
Which is around roughly 40-45 crores.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
So, and we have done this in 3 years.
In 3 years?
Yeah. So our commercial production started in 2023 after COVID. Actually, so COVID we couldn't do much. So when the COVID was done, so we built our factory during COVID. Then after COVID, we started commercial production and then started shipping, because though year though we couldn't do anything. But fortunately, we did R&D during that time. So COVID, we did like full R&D. There was no disturbance, nothing actually. So we perfected our products during that time. Yeah.
This is a textbook case of a scientist becoming an entrepreneur and creating a product that is...
I would say the purpose actually. Because I wanted to bring actually protein which I didn't get. I always say like, I did it for myself.
Maybe you can say कि आप nutrition देना चाहते हो उन बच्चों को जिनके पास नहीं है. Because
actually. So a lot of people, even our investor, want like, why you don't want to go in premium? I said no, I never said I don't want to go in premium. But I will also have products which are affordable to mass people.
But this is better than premium, क्योंकि premium में भी ये percentage नहीं मिल रहा है. Pricing में
कि आपका product इतना अच्छा है, why you don't just sell it in premium? And which is, we can actually. I mean, we are also selling in premium, we are not. And they say like, why you want to go to mass market? You can sell very premium these products in premium market. I said, I can. So they want like, you just stick in premium. Why you want to go in mass? Because it's a very different ball game.
Yeah.
I said, no, by selling only in premium, maybe I will make more money. But that doesn't give you satisfaction.
Sir, दो और question पूछूंगा and then we'll end the discussion there. I want to talk about your competitors in India. There are startups like Blue Tribe, जिसमें विराट और अनुष्का भी investors हैं. Then there is a company called 𝗕𝗂𝗆𝗂𝗂, which MS Dhoni has invested in. Then there is a company, I think Ginelia and Ritesh Deshmukh.
Imagine.
Yeah, that one, Imagine Foods. They have invested in. And then there is a recent very popular protein bar in India जो कि लोग पागल हो रहे हैं, but for no reason, I don't know why. Super U करके, जिसमें
chips
10 grams of protein in a bar, which is 60 rupees.
वो सब में मिलता है.
You are also launching a protein bar, right? So 2 questions. how are you competing in the protein bar category, and how are you competing with these guys like the Blue Tribes and the Harry of the world?
So let me give how the process works for these companies. Okay, so if I talk about the...
And these are big names backed by big people, right?
Meat alternative.
Yeah.
So for example, like whether it's Beyond or Impossible or Good Dot or anyone. So they make plant-based foods, first of all. They're not making meat alternative. Their products are a ready-to-eat or ready-to-prepare food. I always say, like when people say meat alternative, meat is not a food actually. Meat is an ingredient which goes into thousands of different applications.
Absolutely.
So if you want to call something a meat alternative, it means it should be suitable to be used for thousands of different applications. If you are making a burger patty, plant-based burger patty, then it's an alternative of a burger.
Yes.
Not a meat alternative. Yes. And our industry doesn't like when I say that. So similarly, if Good Dot or Blue Tribe is making a curry, it's an alternative of a curry. But chicken has like thousands of different dishes. You don't have. So our brand Forever, which is a plant-based meat alternative brand for Singapore and Australia, is a meat alternative. So we have a like pieces, which is like meat, and you decide what you want to cook out of it. And it will cook exactly like cook the meat, which nobody else has actually. That's the one reason why we could go into largest catering companies in the very first month of the launch. Like, so we supply to Sodexo. Sodexo is global leader in catering. It's a French company. Singapore, they have around 60 like operating canteens, all international schools, big ones. Mostly corporates from Google to HP to Tetra Pak to any big, Boeing, all. So they are catering there, plus hospitals. And we supply one product to them. So what they love is like, it's just one product I need to handle and I can make whatever I want to make out of it. Can you do that with Beyond? It's a patty. Can you make curry out of it? You can't make. If I take Good Dot's curry, can I make burger patty out of it? I can't make. But you take Sandy's plant-based meat, you can make anything out of it. So that's why it fits. And that's the reason we went into B2B. Because we have a product which works for everyone. So why I should limit it to one product? And that's one reason why our revenue growth was driven better. Second thing is, they are a product company. We are a protein technology company. So what they do is they will buy TVP, texturized vegetable protein. Then they will add spices, everything, and make a food product. So it's just like a food company, एक restaurant, जो ingredient खरीदता है, एक dish बनाता है, and retail में बेचता है. What we have is, starting from commodity, we do protein isolation, then we have our own texturization, and then we also have our final food product, which we are bringing now. We did backward actually. So we started from protein, then we have texturized veg protein, jo chanja hai, and now we are bringing our retail products. Now, how they will be able to compete in price? Because उनको तो TVP खरीदना है, TVP वाले को protein खरीदना है, protein वाले को commodity खरीदना है. We already have from protein to TVP to everything actually. So that's why we are much better in price. Even in Australia and Singapore, we can give like our plant-based meat we sell even at $7 and we still make good money out of it.
और ये जो जैसे आप कुकीज बोल रहे हो या प्रोटीन बार बोल रहे हो, इसमें कितना प्रोटीन होता है और कितना का बिकता है?
So 30 gram protein. So our protein is costing around, if I say protein powder itself, when we sell, okay, I can't disclose how much we produce.
Yes.
But from $7 onwards. So $7 means Singapore dollar. That means like such a PLEs. So 400 rupees per kilo protein, which is 92% protein.
The protein isolate आता है. Whey protein isolate is 90% odd.
Well, उसका price कितना है?
Which costs like 4,000 rupees a kg.
That's the difference. So it tastes better than whey protein because at least whey protein has a whey taste. This doesn't have any taste. And it's 10 like 1:10 price of the whey protein actually. So if you add like in cookies, how much you need to add to get 30 gram? Like 100 gram. If you want to add 30 gram protein, you only need to add, because it's 90% protein. So you only need to add like a 10 gram protein. No, 30 gram, you need to add around 32
35
gram protein. So 1 kilo is say 450. 100 gram is 45 rupees. 30 gram is no
10-12
10 rupees. Which is a normal. Abhi wheat flour bhi to 200 रुपया kilo hai. So if they are replacing wheat flour from bread or cookies or anything, so actually they are putting protein, replacing flour with protein with just 200 rupees extra.
Wow.
There's no extra load on them. And there's a reason. People say like, how is it possible? Why? I also want to explain, and that's very important for people to know. It's already unnecessary, like expensive. If we look at the plant protein, and that was one reason I was always angry with my own industry. If you go to a farmer in Canada, जो peas है, like मटर, वो farmer बेचता है 50 cents per kilo में.
ठीक है, 50 cent हो गया करीब 25-30 रुपए.
फिर वो जाता है प्रोटीन आइसोलेट कंपनी में. प्रोटीन आइसोलेट कंपनी, and like that dry peas, they have around 30% protein already. Now to make it 90%, you need 3 kilo of the peas.
बिल्कुल.
$8. If I take $50 as a price for the pea, to get 90 gram, I need to use 3 kilo of the.
75 रुपए हो गए, 75 rupees.
The protein isolate they are selling is at around $6 to $10, depending on which company it is. Rocket is $9, Chinese companies are $5, like that. जबकि आपको 3 times yield है, so 50 cents, you need 3 kilo of the protein to get 90%, because एक में मान लो कम भी आया क्रॉप की वजह से 4 times मान लो, तो 50 cents multiplied $2. $2 आप उसमें प्रोसेसिंग कॉस्ट लगा लो,
$4 हो गया.
$4. That's all. अभी प्रोटीन आइसोलेट भी है. Plant protein isolate, if you buy directly from big companies like Rocket and Cargill and all, is $6. 300 रुपए में 90% प्रोटीन मिलता है आपको. Now you look at the price of the finished products in the market.
That's crazy. मतलब 500 ग्राम एक कंपनी आजकल उसका अगर आप प्लांट प्रोटीन लेते हो, I don't want to name the company, but just talking about these brands, they sell you 500 grams of protein for about 1500 rupees.
Exactly. If you buy the same pea protein, what they are using from Rocket, which is a global leader and quality, I mean, their proteins are not deodorized like our protein is tasteless. They are normal protein, which they buy, because we don't sell protein directly to anyone in India yet, because we want to have our own products.
Yes.
So we decided कि प्रोटीन नहीं बेचेंगे. वो $60 में आपको 1 किलो मिलता है. $60 मतलब 350 रुपए में 1 किलो. They are selling the same protein for 1500 रुपए में आधा किलो. So it doesn't make sense. And then we say like people are not adopting sustainable food. How they will adopt sustainable food if we are just using sustainability as a tool to make like profits? Or they say like they don't want like a protein, affordable protein to mass people. उनका पर्पज है केवल वो use sustainability and the clean protein as a tool to increase the profit. So, and now because we control the end-to-end process, so they can't compete. But as a price, which they also don't want probably, because they want to play in that segment. We also are there, but there we will compete based on the superiority of the product, because our product, like even you buy any best brand of the plant protein based drink or supplement, Yesterday I tried it tastes soya actually, literally soya. So then it's about the quality of the product in premium segment. But the biggest thing is rest segment, nobody can touch, where we will be like probably the only one, because we can bring that price to the mass population. Plant protein उसमें अभी नहीं जा पाएगा कोई भी, because they don't control the end-to-end supply chain. We control the whole supply chain from end to end. So that's a big reason why we can compete with any brand in the market.
Wow, sir, I have thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. मेरा मन नहीं कर रहा रुकने का, but obviously there is scarcity of time as always. I am extremely hopeful and very, very pumped to have a Jaipur-based scientist traveled abroad, worked abroad, launched his own product, coming back to India, and with a purpose, with an aim to improve the lives of the masses. I think that is a story that is mostly too good to be true, but in this case, it actually is.
Thank you.
So, first of all, thank you for doing this.
Thank you.
Not the podcast, but actually bringing the purpose.
Thank you.
And now, thank you for doing the podcast with me. I have thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. I want to ask you so many other questions, but I think I'm going to have you on the show again.
Yeah.
And we are going to talk about nutrition and other industries, nutraceuticals and stuff.
Definitely.
And share this fantastic knowledge with the audience. Thank you so much for doing this, sir. Maza aa gaya.
Thank you, Deepesh, and thank you for the opportunity, because it's really important to share the purpose and vision, not just doing it actually with other people, and especially the knowledge, and educate people about what's right and what's wrong in the food actually. That's very, very important. And last 20 years I did other way around. So I was the one part of the group which fools people, and I'm just trying to correct it.
Beautiful.
By telling people the truth about the food and what they can do as much as possible actually, if they can learn something from it. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a pleasure. Thank you. Fantastic. Sir, you have so much knowledge about the science of nutrition, and that makes you an ideal person to ask about the gaps. Actually, let me rephrase it. That makes you an ideal person to cite the gaps. Entrepreneurship is nothing but bridging the gaps, right? आप एक gap खुद bridge कर रहे हो, which is solving the protein problem. What other opportunities or gaps lie in the food industry right now that any entrepreneur or aspiring entrepreneur who's watching this can fill?
See, I'll talk more about Indian context. So India is like second largest, or now maybe officially first.
Largest highly populated country.
And which is dominated by food actually. So we are a food country. Here, converting our food into better nutrition, affordable, is a huge opportunity. And I think our young entrepreneurs should focus on that. And because currently what I see a gap is like everybody, all the food industry is focused on only like top 10% population. But and if you see a big difference, why multinational companies like you, are they in premium foods? No. So we think about like 10% population, 2 crore ka revenue hoga, I'm very happy. But they eye for 1.5 billion population actually. And that's why they are the largest food companies. How many other companies are at that place actually? None of them actually. Why Nestle, Mars, you name any company which is a mass food company. They are all multinational companies. What we are doing is a boutique food or boutique chocolate or boutique bar. वो 2% like even percentage में
10% भी नहीं है सर, वो 2-3%
total मिला के. I want like our entrepreneurs to chase that much. Try to karo at least to become one of them. Maybe I may not be in my life, but somebody else will be actually. Would try karo. Why we don't become one of them? Because we have this 1.5 billion population and somebody is coming from Europe and selling food to us. Which we should do actually. So that's a huge opportunity there.
Sir, I'm sorry, I'm putting you on the spot here और जरूरी नहीं है कि आपके पास on the spot इसका आंसर हो. But can you give like an example? Just for example, ये प्रोटीन की आपने बात बताई. So this is like a simple, clear example. ऐसे कोई और गैप है जो आप देखते हो कि यार ये एक अपॉर्चुनिटी है जिसको करना चाहिए. Like for example, आपने फ्लेवर्स की बात करी थी. तो फ्लेवर्स एक डिपार्टमेंट है.
इंग्रेडिएंट बहुत बड़ी इंडस्ट्री है. Like food ingredient. You know, we are the largest producer of food ingredient in a way. Spices, we are leader. Other extracts, we are the leader. But we are leader as a commodity. We don't even have a company which is global supplier of food ingredient. Most of the companies, whether it's Rocket or Kerry or all of them, are companies from outside because we don't focus on R&D. So either we sell commodity or we work for someone. And that's what I was doing always. So we need to focus more on R&D so that we can really do value addition to our ingredients. Ingredient industry is one of the largest in the world actually. Because ingredient you supply to every food company. Even big food company, they have to buy ingredients. So semi-processed ingredient, they are like one of the highest like demanded ingredient, and it will increase. But how many of our companies are there? Very little. Why? Because हम लोग R&D में we are not very good at.
कोई सब्जेक्टिव आंसर दे सकते हो आप? मतलब कुछ एग्जांपल दे सकते हो आप इस तरह का, जैसे क्या इंग्रेडिएंट हो, या आज की डेट में इंडिया क्या ऐसा इंग्रेडिएंट कोई कंपनी बना सकता है जो एक पर्टिकुलर इंग्रेडिएंट बनाए?
No, just like फ्लेवर्स या फ्रेग्रेंस की बात करें, like flavors and fragrances. We are largest spice supplier. Give me a brand name of seasoning. Which seasoning we buy for vegetable? Maggi masala. That's a like technically developed process flavor. We don't have a brand like that actually. जो इंडिया से बाहर है. What we are supplying is commodities, but not actually the processed or technically enhanced products. वो लोग हम लोग नहीं बना. That's a big opportunity. हम produce
कर रहे हैं, but हम technology नहीं बना रहे.
No.
We are manufacturing it.
We are growing it actually. I would say. No, उसमें भी technology नहीं है. So we have a big opportunity because we have resources. We have raw resources, abundance of that. Now we need to value add to it and go beyond India actually. There's a huge opportunity. Within India definitely yes, but also outside because हमारे पास ना raw resources बहुत है. Abundance, huge resources we have. And that we should use, value add and sell. I was talking, I give you another good example actually.
Yes.
I was sitting with one of the person last week. We produce rice and we have surplus rice. You will be surprised. So we have around 20 million tons of surplus rice rotting in our warehouses. Now what government recently has started is कि उसको will convert it to alcohol for the energy sector. But that's actually a waste. आप पूरा राइस उगा के उसको धान उगा के राइस बना के then you are fermenting it back into alcohol. You can do it directly also. Plus out of that alcohol fermentation also उसका जो sludge बचता है that is around 6% protein. 20 million tons का 6% protein can solve half of your protein problem. But it's rotten.
और राइस प्रोटीन बढ़िया होता है.
Is better.
बहुत अच्छा.
टेस्ट में प्रॉब्लम नहीं है.
Yeah.
It's complete protein, but nobody is doing it actually. So they asked me like, why you don't start like a protein isolation in India using that surplus rice we have, and I'll be happy to do it actually. Similarly, there are so many ingredients which we are.
So
not,
that's one opportunity.
Yep, huge, and they are actually looking for. हम लोग बोलते हैं गवर्नमेंट कुछ करती. गवर्नमेंट इज लुकिंग फॉर तो कोई तो इसका आइसोलेट करके यू कैन बिकॉज इज रोटिंग एनी वे इन द FCA वेयर हाउसेज बिकॉज अपनी उतनी रिक्वायरमेंट है नहीं. वीट वी हैव हायर रिक्वायरमेंट कंपेयर टू व्हाट वी ग्रो. राइस वी ग्रो मोर, वी हैव लेस रिक्वायरमेंट. It's rotting in the FCA warehouse and they want someone to do it.
सर कितना एक अगर कोई इस तरह का सेटअप करना चाहता है तो कितना इन्वेस्टमेंट
This is a big one, I would say, because if you want to set up a protein isolation company, that will require at least like 5 to 10 crore. But government is ready to even support that.
Subsidies वगैरह भी मिलती हैं आजकल.
Plus, if we can really develop the IP, there are a lot of investors who will easily invest because आपको raw material तो बहुत affordable price में मिलेगा. Demand is already there, domestic as well as the export.
And you can use
market.
This where in
anyway, it's just a protein isolate. Rice protein is even better than like any protein isolate because usme the taste is much neutral naturally. I don't need to do that sprouting thing for rice protein because it's already neutral taste.
और profile भी बहुत अच्छी होती है, right?
Amino acid profile is also very good. So they want, but we are not doing it.
So is digestibility. I mean, जब मैं थोड़ी सी research कर रहा था तो rice का बहुत अच्छा.
Yeah, it's very good.
Digestibility is really fast, about 7 grams of protein. Then similar to digestion speed to whey, but lower in amino acid richness थोड़ा सा.
वो आप बाकी ऐड कर सकते हो. But see, the problem is the countries who are doing protein isolation, they don't have surplus. Like China also does protein isolation a lot. China imports peas from Canada because they don't grow lentils. Like rice, India we have surplus rice.
China consume कर देता सारा.
China का खुद का plus they also bring it to Southeast Asia. जैसे Southeast Asia में rice consumption is high, but वो पूरा China से import होता है. So they don't have surplus. उसके बाद में भी they do isolation. हमारे यहाँ पे we have surplus rice even after doing fermentation to make alcohol. वो भी actually waste है. It's not the best use of the rice. आप alcohol बना के you are selling it in the petrol. But even after that, उसके बाद में जो उसका जो spent बचता है, that has 5% protein. उसका हम लोग कुछ नहीं करते. They burn it in the boilers. Or you won't believe. बाकी उसके अलावा भी जो FCA में राइस सड़ जाता है जिसका कुछ नहीं करता because we can't distribute it and we can't do anything about it. So there are a lot of opportunities like that in India जहाँ पे commodity को value add करके we can not only use domestically, we can solve protein problem by that itself.
Wow.
Plus we can also generate like export revenue out of it. There are a lot of opportunities like that.
Wow. Sir, cookies, protein bar, soups, pizza bases, ये आपकी एक range of product होगी. इसके अलावा are you launching anything else as well?
One very important one. So India also now the one market which is growing is the pet food market.
Pet food. Oh yeah, huge market.
Is growing and is premium. Actually, people are paying anything for that. If you look at that, like any brand, I won't name the brand. Most of the people, and the vegetarian people actually, they have pets at home and they are feeding the same brands, which is always made from meat extracts. There's no like good protein and vegetarian pet food which has a veg symbol. There's no pet food in the market actually. So we are launching a pure vegetarian pet food as well.
And it is important that it is very cheap.
It is comparatively is cheaper than those brands.
The current.
Yeah.
Okay.
Current products. I mean, production cost wise, it's definitely very cheap, but because pet food is premium, so we are putting it into 2 segments actually. So there is one product which is for charity work actually.
Okay.
Where we'll supply the very affordable food
to NGOs and stuff.
NGOs and shelters and we do it purposely actually because again, if I don't supply them, then we don't do it because our purpose is actually that. Not. Then we have a brand which is a pet food brand, a good brand with a decent margin so that we can fund the
Do you have a name right work.
Now? No, we are still working on that. But we did a trial in Delhi last week. You can add those clips if you want. But dogs, they love it. People think like they don't eat it. Cats, they don't eat it. They were mad about it actually. They loved our products. It has same nutrition, same protein. Everything is 100% made with the plant proteins. And even the flavor, because cats and dog, you need to bring the meaty flavor.
Yes.
But you will be surprised our meaty flavor is made from the same plant proteins. It's not added flavor. It's made from the same proteins and they're loving it. So it will be a launch, I think, by Deepavali this year to retail and for the charity work. And we have committed whatever profit we make from the retail brand, we will be providing like 20% of that to the charity work. So if you are feeding your pet, you are not just feeding your pet, you are actually helping 5 more animals. Because we will provide them the food. So that's the main reason why we want to bring the pet food actually. And we want to sell it based on that you should support other animals as well. If you are really an animal lover, only your pet is not the animal. There are more animals which are not taken care of. So if you support them, by this, we'll support them. And it's a commitment. We are working with one of the largest animal care organization in India. We will announce it very soon. So we'll go with them. So it's a primarily animal care organization and then a brand.
Wow.
Not other way around.
Fantastic. So this is a great range of product that you're bringing. Now people know about you, your company. Where can people find you on the internet? What do they need to look for?
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, okay.
Yeah, you can find me easily on the LinkedIn, on the website. Yeah, LinkedIn is the best place, I would say. I'm not very active on Facebook and Instagram, but LinkedIn I am actually. So LinkedIn.
Dr. 𝗕𝗂𝗶𝗶𝘀𝗀 on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And you'll find him as the founder and CEO of Shandy Global.
Yeah.
SHANDI Global.
Yeah.
And that's the podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Deepesh. It's a pleasure.